on, everybody? It's your boy Thrifty back with the Thrifty Gaming News Podcast. Tonight we have a very special show in store for everybody. Myself and Will are here. No other guest, no mic issues, no nothing. We're going to have me and Will. We know our mics work, we know everything's Gucci on that end, and it's going to be fantastic. I don't know about y'all, but some interesting things have happened in the wonderful world of gaming. And as we're going to talk about tonight, it's it's interesting and it's one thing to be able to sit there and kind of puff your chest out. Are you sure about no mic issues? Yes, I'm 100% positive. Thank you. What's up, RPG? What's up, Outsider Gaming Night? I said it right on the first try. I'm so proud of myself. What's up, Nick? So, as we talk about things tonight, as we get into this, we are absolutely going to dog walk Xbox from one end of the generation all the way to the other end of the generation. And I believe that it's going to be a very fun show. It's going to be a very lively show. It's going to be a show that might end up with some hurt feelings. I don't care. They're not my feelings. But with that being said, there are a few people. What's up, Toolman? What's up, Michael? And there are going to be some people who still want to say that we're ponies or we're this. Hopefully we get some hate watchers here and they'll join the channel. They have no other home, so maybe they'll join here. If y'all could, hit that like button. A little bit of channel maintenance. We are at 401 subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. And like I said, hit that like button. Surprisingly, I don't have a lot of articles for tonight because I don't need them. Will doesn't need them. These are the same things that we need articles to read and talk about. This is the same shit that we have been talking about for myself since February of last year. Others longer than that. And so, like, these are things where I've been listening to clips from people who they're like, dude, I called this crap 4 years ago. There was a dude in our Discord earlier. I called this crap 4 years ago. And, like, they showed the tweet, and I was like, oh, damn. Whoa. Hey, I thought I was something special calling it a year ago or 8 months ago or whatever it was now, back in March of last year. And so, like, there's going to be a little bit of hurt feelings. There's going to be a little bit of salt. Shout out to my buddy, Saltiest Gaming. He is still alive and kicking. Says hi. Says he misses a lot of us. Cool. But what we have to realize is that tonight is a celebration of life for the Xbox. Not necessarily the Xbox like brand or the Xbox, or not necessarily the Xbox games or anything like that, but just the brand as a whole. We salute you, Xbox, for being absolute dog shit for 13 years, and for lying to your fans, and for having people like us get called ponies and idiots and Team Blue and whatever the hell else they called us. We salute you for being assholes. We salute you for being the best and the worst liars I have ever seen. And so with that, guys, I will say, welcome to the playground. Will, how the heck are you, man?
I am doing great, Thrifty. How are you, chat? How are you guys tonight?
Yeah, they can hear you, so I think they're great. that's,
Yeah.
that's the one request. Hey, can we make sure to be able to hear the guy? Can we?
Yeah, I know. It seems like whenever you get more than two people, things start to act a little weird.
I'm telling you, man. It's because the same thing happened with one of my guests who I'd had on before when I did the Final Fantasy 16 thing in two parts. TCMF was fine that Wednesday, but the Sunday night one, I can't remember who it was, but we had one person that like we just couldn't. It just wasn't
I
working.
think it was a
So
Nate.
I think it was, but he'd been on the show before.
Yeah, yeah.
which was why it was weird. Because, like, nothing, a tad crackling on your side. Yeah, it's from my headphones, and I don't know why. This is the only place it does it, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe I gotta plug them into the computer for an update.
I'm getting the new for my birthday. My parents and my sister are all bunching some money up to get me the new PlayStation headsets,
The Pulse Elites or whatever,
the Pulse
or
Elites. Yeah,
the yeah,
well, not the headbuds, earbuds. I don't know what those are called, but whatever
those
are
are
not
the
the earbuds.
Explorers.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. My birthday is towards the end of February, 3 days before
Oh, that's actually not my
uh,
microphone. That's his. Haha.
Final
Sweet.
Fantasy comes out, and I'm excited for those.
Yeah, it's so we have a lot of games coming out, and real quick, I just want to talk about this. I was super concerned, as a lot of us were. Hey, is the amount of games coming out going to be able to be supported by the PlayStation community, by the PlayStation gamers? And I I'm not seeing things slow down. You know, Grand Blue is doing okay. Helldivers is freaking
Grand Blue is
launching.
doing better than okay. Grand Blue is at, I think I saw earlier today, 145, close to 150 consecutive users on PC on Steam,
Oh,
and it's only
sure.
growing. I mean, it's ridiculous how well that game is doing.
No, definitely. I'm not sitting here saying it's not doing well. I'm saying it didn't come out of the gates like Pal World or a Fortnite or something like that. Like
Oh yeah, no, I mean those
it
are
didn't
lightning in a
top the
bottle kind of
chart.
deals.
Right. And so, but we have a game like Hellblade or Helldivers. Sorry, Freudian slip there. We have a game like Helldivers that has literally caught the world by storm.
Top two.
Top two global on
Mm-hmm.
Steam. And
That's
what
exciting.
what did we call? What did we say? What, like, PlayStation's going to take their multiplayer games to PC? Did we cry about it? No, because they said, "Hey, these are going to PC." And we're like, "You know what? Multiplayer? PC? It makes sense." I believe you had a post that said it's all these people know how to play, if I'm not mistaken. When you were talking about the PC players, Will,
Was
was
that
that
when I
you?
was complaining about the cost of entry?
You mentioned something about PlayStation putting their uh, multiplayer games on PC, and you said like it makes sense because that's all these people play outside of free to play
Well,
games.
yeah, yeah, because and on top of that, when you're talking about
Hey, your mic is
on
crackling pretty bad, by the way. It's real weird.
well, let me know if anything changes, if it's still crackling. Chat, can you guys hear me well? Does the chat
Yeah,
even say
RPG said
something?
he can hear. It's just there's kind of a crackling noise.
Mm.
Did you all join the Helldivers 2 Discord? Not yet. So go ahead, finish your thought though.
That it makes sense to have day and date on PC and PlayStation because we need these players to get the game up and going. But you know, a regular single player narrative driven game doesn't make sense. You don't need those players. You may want the money, you don't need the money, but you want it, and that's where a year, 2 years later down the line, the game will be released on PC.
Because they want those little beggars over there to give them their money. I'm
Well,
sorry.
essentially, and that's the plan. I mean, that's something that
PC
Xbox
is
should have been
PlayStation's
doing.
side chick, so let's just call it what it is.
Oh
Like,
man, PC is PlayStation fourth place. You know, like
yeah,
top three declined Valentine's Day. So we'll ask PC out.
it's so
We'll
bad.
go to the taco truck. We won't even go to the restaurant.
We we don't even want to go to the restaurant. I'm sorry. Listen, we gotta lay low. We're just gonna go back here. I got a buddy who's the cook. He's gonna hook us up. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna hit up this taco truck because it's got two tortillas and one taco, so that way we can split it.
we can meet in the middle.
Meet in the middle.
Lady and the Tramp going on. Oh, hey, is that what Sarah Bond and Matt Booty are now? She's the lady, he's the tramp. Is that how this works? Like, I think that's how this. I think that's what's about to happen. Like, Phil Spencer is going to be the dog that got kicked out and like the bad mean dog in the show, and then the rest of it's going to be Lady and the Tramp now from here on. Matt Booty serving the coffee. Josh. I'm sorry, dude. I'm freaking on one tonight. I did my show on freaking Wednesday of last week, and Thursday the bottom falls out. What's up, fish? And so Phil would be the dog catcher. Yes, that's perfect. Always attempting to do his job, but never quite succeeding. It's the dog catcher. It's the freaking dog catcher. Seriously though, shout out. Sorry, I'm gonna wrap this back in because I could do this shit all night. I'm gonna wrap this back in. Literally, Arrowhead Games. If by some odd chance you see that I've tagged Helldivers in the title and put Helldivers in the YouTube tags, if you see this, congratulations. Y'all have dethroned Pal World as the number 2 global paid for game on Steam currently.
That's insane.
That's freaking nuts for a $40 game.
Yeah, real quick, let me test my my headphones here real quick. Make sure everybody can hear me. RPG, let me know. But yeah, dude, it's insane. When I saw those numbers, I was taken back because we're talking about a $40 game, basically, right? We're talking a game that top down for the first game. The first game wasn't like it didn't take over the world or anything. But with this one, I mean, it blew my mind, right? You see the third person, you see the visuals, you see the action in the game. Then the best parts to me is that they're gonna support this game for free, basically. Um, the the entry level to this game, it's literally just buying the game. I mean, it's a very it just feels like a very organic growth for this game, and I hope that like I put it on X today. I'm like, I hope this game is good. I hope that it gives us exactly what it has been showing us. Because if it just does that, I think the game will have great success. But we will see next week how those numbers are the first week.
Listen, if they here's how I have the bar set on multiplayer games. If they run 90% stable day 1, that is a huge success. Like, I want to see this game come out, and I don't want to hear the devs go, "Oh, we didn't know it was going to be this big of a hit. We had no idea it was going to take off like this. We expected a big number because of PlayStation's help and blah blah blah, and the power of the PS5 us being us able to do all the marketing bullshit." But I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, no, we knew our game was going to do well. We have the servers assigned to it already, and it's ready to go. That's all I want. And that's why I'm hoping that they're not doing a midnight release, so those extra 4 hours can give them kind of that buffer. But man, I am so worried that it's going to be one of these things where it's like everybody buys it and then nobody can play it. We've seen that with so many multiplayer sleeper hits, and then they can never get back off the ground. And so I'm hoping Sony had the forethought and Arrowhead Game Studios had the forethought to make enough server space just in case. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. No, it's an exciting moment for PlayStation. And another thing too, just to guys, we're gonna be eating for the next 4 months. Like I was listening to a podcast on my way home from work. Who was it? Porter Rock, and he was just saying how Grand Blue came out, right? Now we got Helldivers. Then we got Pacific Drive coming out. We got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I was able to secure the deluxe edition from Best Buy yesterday, which sold out in like, I don't know, you know how everything with PlayStation is, right? It sells out immediately. Then after that, we have the third parties, Dragon's Dogma, you know, we have the Rise of Ronin, we have a Stellar Blade in April. It's like the list keeps going on. And the thing the crazy thing about this all is that, I'm new to the Final Fantasy thing, and I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, and I have about 30, 40 hours into that game, and I see no ending in sight. So I've been doing some research. Some people have told me to do everything in the game is about 150 to 175 hours, which blows my mind. But when I saw that state of play yesterday, I'm like, dude, this is a freaking 250-hour game easily.
Okay, so that state of play. I did not get to watch it until super late. That's why I wasn't able to do the show. I got to play 25 minutes of the demo. And I guarantee you, about 10 minutes of that was playing the piano in Tifa's room, because that was an awesome little mini game. But, like, that's where I ended. So I don't know nothing after. I don't know where Will just went, but he might be changing headphones. Let me send him another invite. Hang on. Sorry, guys. We are professionals. This is still the playground. Uh, Real quick, James Williams, thanks for showing up, man. Already said hi to Fishy. Got Michael already. Josh. Hey, what's up, Twisted? I quoted you already. Um, Warawana, what's up, man? What's up, Josh? Oh, what's up, Tool Man? Hell yeah. Dude, we got the whole brigade here. We got the ones that didn't have to hold the line because our company never made a line. They just made games and we just bought them. And so, um, anyways, so the state of play. I'm sorry. I can't, you know, Jez said something real funny the other day. Like, if it's in the title, I can't just give it to you right away. I just can't. I can't give you what you're needing right away because then you just get your stuff and then you leave. And that's not cool. So, the state of play, we're going to have to wait a little bit till we get to the good stuff. The state of play. I finally watched it. And I think I finally texted Josh last night at like 10 my time, and I was like, man, I just finished the state of play, and I gave one critique. The game looks absolutely gorgeous, but there's one critique that I didn't like, and I didn't think Square Enix would do it because they're always so closed-lip about everything. But they literally previewed every section that I was hoping we would see in the game, that I wasn't certain that we would see in the game. They previewed every single locale. And I was like, man, that's cool because now I'm super excited to go to those places. But it, I really wanted the awe of like walking in to Nibelheim for the first time and kind of seeing that panoramic shot, or going on to Mount Condor, not Mount Condor, yeah, Mount Condor, and or heading over to Cosmo Canyon. Like, and when you enter, they always do that like pan around shot, and like I wanted that experience for the first time when I was playing the game. So, anyways, I know
Well,
that
let
that's a
me.
little bit of whiny baby nostalgia talking, but
That's very
like,
whiny, baby. Because when I saw
I
that,
got plastic
it
toys.
actually, it actually sold the game to me. Seeing
Oh,
all the locales actually sold it to me as a new Final Fantasy player. Because mind you, I haven't beaten the first one yet. I don't want to say that I'm halfway through. I don't know how much of the game I have left. I'm guessing I'm not even halfway through yet. But
what's happened? So,
that,
what's the last thing that happened
the last thing that happened is Tifa got not kidnapped, but she volunteered herself to go be
for the Dawn?
somebody's. Yes.
For the Dawn. Okay. You have. You're probably 2/3 of the way through.
Oh, nice. So I am over slightly over half.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that's almost the halfway point in the first game. Is well, of to get out of Midgard. That's almost the halfway point, and so I'd say you're 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through. So
Okay. Yeah, dude. That sold it to me. And my sister is the one that got me the deluxe edition. I honestly, I wasn't even gonna buy Final Fantasy, which I didn't technically, but I was talking to her on Monday because my sister, she doesn't give a fuck about video games. You know, she sees games as like not a waste of time because obviously I've been explaining to her that it's more than just what you think it is. You know, it's not like playing arcade games like back in the 90s. You know, it's not like that anymore. And I was talking to her about it. I was like, yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'm kind of excited to see how this game turns out. It seems to be huge. Graphically, it looks amazing. But I'm not quite sure. And then she hits me with a text message like, "Bam, secured it for you." Since she's a Best Buy Pro member, I think that's what they're called. And she got the alert for the game right away. And she's like, "Look, if you don't want it, I'll return it. But happy birthday." And I was like, "You know what? I'll take it, especially the deluxe edition." But me internally thinking while watching the state of play, I was like, "Oh man, we're going here. Oh man, we're going there." And then listening to Porter Rock's podcast, what's his name, Extreme, made a good point about the size of the world. You know, something that he said was in Starfield, one of the concerns was the 1,000 planets, right? And he's like, we really haven't seen a video game that has a complete world, you know, like a global thing in the game itself, where the traveling in the game is as close to traveling the distance of the size of the Earth. And Final Fantasy Rebirth may not have a whole globe, but it definitely has a big ass continent. And watching that state of play just piqued my interest so much because I love open world RPGs. I love like Horizon Forbidden West. Like that's a huge, huge world.
So I want to caution you on something that they never said. They never said it was a full open world. I
No,
think
no,
they're
I know
gonna.
that.
Okay, I think they're gonna do like a God of War style where it's
Yeah, it was like hub sections, like hub
yeah, like
worlds.
they call it wide linear is what they call it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that that is one of the things that all of us really hoped for. And because they haven't just come out and said, hey, these are different hubs, I think certain people are still holding out hope that you're going to be able to walk through the marshes between Nibelheim and the Chocobo race or the Chocobo farm. And I don't think that that's going to be the case.
Well,
I
dude,
don't
the
think so.
game is 145 gigs.
I know.
So I
Trust me,
mean
I
that
know.
that leaves a lot of, and you know that was probably I was playing with my guy Jerk Chicken on PlayStation. I've been playing Returnal with him the last few days, and we were I was telling him that the main reason I would actually want this game is because it's on 2 discs. It would just be a nice game to add to the collection because it's unique. You know, 2 disc, 145 gigs, like it's insane just for that alone. But I sat there thinking like, wait a minute, 145 gigs. That's a big ass game. And if I'm comparing to like, for example, Horizon is right around 90 to 100 gigs. If we're talking what's another huge map, Cyberpunk is like 80, 90 gigs. Maybe it's now a little bit more with the DLC. This thing is 40% more than those
Hmm.
games.
Yep.
So it's just, and how much of it is fidelity, right? How much of it is graphics?
That's
I don't
so.
know,
That's what I was
but
gonna say. Look at what happened with Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. Okay,
that's a huge game too.
but the game was super massive, wasn't a true open world, but the reason it was super massive is because they had started developing the game still on the PS4, and so not all of the PS5 and Xbox Series X technology was actually like utilized for it. And so because of that, if they tried to do literally like brute force it, like, hey, we're going to have this massive operating system, operating program built in, and it's so they can render the textures and things like that. So game size, all that means is that either A, it's massive, or B, it is not efficiently optimized. It's optimized, but they did so by making it 145 gigs. Does that make sense?
Well, if we look at Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, I mean that game is. Here, I have it right here. It is
That's like 40, wasn't it? 30 or 40?
no, it's more than that. It's I think I want to say 60 or 80.
But that was the
Here it is.
base game and Intergrade.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So I have the DLC. Oh, so it's 90 gigs. So that's with everything. That's all the DLCs and the game itself. And I played the demo. I got about 45 minutes into the demo, and it's exactly the world that you're talking about, Thrifty. So I'm guessing if they open it up more, which obviously they're going to because we're not in the city of I forget the name of
yeah.
it,
Midgard.
Midgard. I'm thinking it's gonna be at least double the size of what seven is, meaning map the size of the map on each hub world or hub section. That's
Yeah.
just my guesstimate, but I'm excited to find out either way. We're just throwing the shit around
We're
about what we
just
think
throwing
it
shit
might
out
be.
there. I
Yeah,
don't care either way. Like, I'm
yeah, no.
going to play the absolute shit out of this game. I got to play as Sephiroth last night, and god dang it. I could not. Like, the feeling that I had as a Final Fantasy VII weeb, being able to sit there and play as Sephiroth, one of the most powerful characters in Final Fantasy. Oh, so
Question
good.
for you:
Oh, so good.
why is Saffron up Cloud's ass all the time? Like I don't get that.
So that will become clearer in this game.
Okay.
So the first one, you're kind of picking up pieces. If you really want to know the story of Sephiroth, go play Crisis Core.
Hey, I got that game. I actually got two
Uh,
copies of it.
go play Crisis Core. You
Okay.
need, yeah, because like Josh just said in the chat, I'm not going to spoil it. Crisis Core will help you understand who Sephiroth is. Remake makes you understand that he is the villain, and then uh, Rebirth, I think, is going to tell you why he's the villain. Crisis Core will kind of spoil it, but it not really, because Crisis Core happened before all of this, and so it will also fill you in on what happened with Zack and Aerith and a couple of the
Hey,
others.
chat's like play core will and look guys, I will get to it. But guys, I only have X amount of time here, dude. I can only play so many games. Like I got a full-time job. I'm a parent. As crazy as that may sound, but I'm a parent. Like I got like I was just telling my son, like, dude, I play video games because I went to work, I paid the bills, I cooked dinner, I fed you, I bathed you, I helped you with homework, I cleaned it, I did the chores, and now I play the game. I don't play the
Uh-huh.
game and then do all this other stuff first, you know. So I would love to, guys, you know, if I can just like duplicate myself, oh my
Well,
goodness.
that's like me. I have people DMing me, man. Are you getting Helldivers? Are you getting Helldivers? Are you? When are we gonna?
Yeah,
When
are
are we
you
gonna
getting
link up and play
Helldivers?
it? And I'm like, yes. I can't add anything else to my plate right now. I am still trying to beat Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Helldivers,
I am still needing
Helldivers.
to beat Remnant 2. My buddy bought Remnant 2 off of my recommendation after playing it. He's already beat the game and is on his second playthrough and
Yeah.
messaged me and told me how cool it was that him and I bought the exact same game and we played two different games. Like, he was
Yeah.
like, we both bought Remnant 2 and my experience with it was totally different than what your experience with it was. Like,
Yep, that's
and it was
Helldivers. Or I
so
mean,
cool
Remnant.
because like he was super hyped about it. And the first game he bought on my recommendation, he put 800 hours into, and that was Outriders.
I
And so
got
like,
Outriders too.
it's so fun. I love that game. But now that we have Remnant 2, I'm going to just let you know Remnant 2 is the better Outriders. It really
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's
I have about 10 hours or no,
oh,
about
what's up,
15 hours in
Thon?
Outriders. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But okay, so real quick, Thrifty, my question to you is, so now this is just me being curious about another gamer's habit, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
way that I normally game is normally, because it hasn't been normal for the last few months or so, is I start a game and I finish it if it's interesting to me and it catches my attention. If it's a game where I'm like feeling, I don't really care, I really, you know, like kind of iffy about it, then I'll play it till I feel like I'm bored and then I'll hop on something else. And then, for example, there are times where, like right now, I'm playing Power Wash Simulator because I'm engaged in the conversation and I don't want to do too much thinking. So, are you the
No
type of
shit.
person to complete a game before you move on, or do you not have a problem with jumping from game to game?
So it depends on the game, and it's really funny. Before you became like the co-host of the show, like I'd had this conversation with somebody else early on, and it's really interesting when people ask me that because it depends on the game. So when I was playing Hogwarts Legacy, because of the way you have to remember the button mapping on it for all of your spells and all of your like assist abilities and all of your buffs and debuffs, and you have to kind of create that pattern in your head and create that muscle memory. I didn't want to go back and play something else for a little bit and lose that muscle memory because the further along you get in that game, the harder the fights get, and especially some of the boss fights. And so, like, I didn't do that during that game. I played that game until I beat it. And so, with that game, yeah, no, I couldn't go back to it. But with a game like, oh, what's one I've been going? Hang on, hang on, guys. We might lose a little bit of audio. Hang on. With a game like Ease 9, Monstrum Nox, I can very easily drop that for a couple days or a week or two, like I have right now for Tiny Tina's, and I can go right back to that and play it for 5-10 minutes, and I got the controls down again. Like I got my combos down, I got my controls down, stuff like that. So a lot of it depends on the intricacy and of the combat. A
Okay, so
lot of it
for
depends on that.
Rebirth, is that a game you're gonna play all the way through?
Okay, so for Rebirth, that's different. Because Rebirth, I'm going to be locked into it because literally this is. Okay, so for Wooly, Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay? That's his game. That's been his game. He's been talking about it. He talked about Dragon's Dogma 1 before they even announced Dragon's Dogma 2. That's his game. He absolutely loves it. For me, that's Final Fantasy. And so, no, not for any other reason than I know it sounds corny or whatever, but this game is my game. Like, it's my series, it's my franchise, it's my game. And
Yeah, we know
so,
how you feel about Square Enix.
it's not Square Enix, dude. So, and I know you kind of joke with me about that a little bit, but some of it is true. But Final Fantasy, that series, when I was a kid and we were going through so much stuff as a family, I could pop in Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy X, and just escape and get lost in those characters and those worlds. And so, like, it has a very special place with me as a gamer that makes me love that series. Like, I can I can play Final Fantasy VIII, and some of the music in it reminds me like so like smell is closely related to memory, right? We all know that. Most of us know that. Smell is closely tied to memory. But for me, I can sit here and play Final Fantasy VIII and I can literally go back and vividly remember sitting on the floor of my bedroom with my PlayStation 1 pulled out and putting in Final Fantasy, seeing the opening, I'll be here for you. I'll be wait like I can remember that fully. I can remember what my bedroom smelled like at the time. Like those things don't happen with a lot of other video game series for me. And so Final Fantasy in general has a huge place in my gaming life. And so like I don't know, man. There's a lot when it comes to the relationship that older gamers have with certain games. Like you might be a huge Call of Duty fan, and the reason you're a Call of Duty fan is because that one time in college when your girl left you for your best friend, you were able to go and like one of your buddies said, "Hey man, jump on the squad tonight." And now you're sitting there and that squad helped you get through that hard time. So like that didn't happen with me. I hate Call of Duty. But like just
It's a
saying, there's
comfort food.
it's absolutely a, so the movie Top Gun, okay? It is
Love
not
it.
the best movie I have ever seen,
Nope.
but it is my favorite movie I've ever seen.
Oh, it's not the best movie you ever seen, but it's the best movie you ever seen.
Right, it's my favorite. And like and it's because that was a lot of stuff is tied to my family, dude. Like that's that's where I get a lot of like the things that I'm still attached to. My dad was in the Air Force. I was a military brat. The thing I loved doing was going on base and being around some of the decommissioned planes, and we would do FOD walks in the back and find empty bullet shells and stuff like that. So like Top Gun spoke to me from that world, but also it was one of my dad's favorite movies. And so like it became one of my favorite movies. Is it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Is every Final Fantasy game the best game I've ever played? Absolutely not. The ending story in 16 let me down in such a huge way. Final Fantasy IX is the biggest joke to the Final Fantasy community I've ever seen in my life. I hate that game. I've tried to play it 4 times. Oh, no, no, no. That's not true. I've tried to play it on my PS5 4 times. Downloaded it, got 5 hours in, and said no each time. I can't stand it. Final
I've been
Fantasy
seeing
VIII,
people asking for a remake for 9.
dear God, please. It needs it. I'd probably love the remake. Josh, I tried, dude. I tried. I've tried so hard to go back to 9. I get Princess Garnet. I do the whole thing in the castle with Steiner. I see Vivi do his little thing, and I'm like, eh. This is how I know their freaking names. Not like I've seen all their names. And so like it's just one of those things that I'm like, man, I think so fishy, I think that's actually what it is. I think going from 7 and then going to not or going to 8 where they use the full character models and then going right back to that childish yuck. Like it didn't feel like it was progressing the way that I think games should progress, and I think that that might be what to this day still bothers me, even though I love games like Sea of Stars and Chained Echoes and stuff like that. It felt meh. And then a year later, we had Final Fantasy X, which was freaking lights out. One of the best, if not the best, depending on what day you ask me, if not the best Final Fantasy ever made. Like, I need that remade. I need to see Oron and Cloud or Oron and Titus and Yuna fighting Sin in 4K or at least 1440p VRR. That's my second thing also with the show tonight or with the show yesterday. It really bothers me and it feeds into my point that I think that this game is not efficiently optimized, but it is optimized.
Yeah,
Because
I agree with you.
if it was officially optimized, we would have a 1440 VRR mode.
And not just that, the performance mode really, like, I don't know if it's 1080p, but it really felt like a bad 1080p. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's seven. What is it, 720? The one underneath that. It
No, I
just
think they
didn't.
said it was 1080 if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? Yeah, it just didn't feel like a proper 1080 to me. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm such a visuals guy, so I don't mind playing in 30. Well, I will play in 30 if it's a solid 30, but I really like the in between of
Facts.
40. That's my
Yeah.
thing right there. But that one yesterday, like I kept going back and forth, and I really did not like that performance mode on the
So,
demo.
it's, okay. Ahem. Two things. One, thank God they gave me a depth of field because
Oh yes.
they had
Ooh,
my camera right up Cloud's ass the entire time, and it was so bothering. So
not
there is
tease
a
us.
depth of field on there, and you can move it back. You only have 3 settings. Put it on setting number 3. It'll help. But the game felt it was really weird because it almost felt sped up.
Yes.
Like it felt smooth, but it also felt sped up. Like it's so weird. I can't describe it because it's not like it was in fast forward, but it was like it was in 1.2 or 1.4 speed. It just felt different. And so when I put it in 60 FPS, that obviously made it feel like it was moving a lot faster. And so I was like, oh, whoa. So I actually played it in 30, and it didn't feel like 30. I don't know what kind of, like, I don't know if there is some sort of back end, like, upscaling or use of VRR tech that's just not labeled. Like, if you have a VRR TV, it'll automatically try to do some upscaling on it because they have it set to where that can happen. They just don't have it as a mode. But it felt really fast. And that also could be because I've been playing Tiny Tina's lately, and that's kind of more of a kind of slow game. Like, it's not necessarily a fast-paced game. And so I don't know. Now, I am nitpicking the absolute hell out of this, and it's because if there's anybody who gets to nitpick it, Wara, trust me, I understand my smarter brother. I fully understand that VRR is not upscaling. I know that. I do know that your PlayStation has a setting on it that you can turn on that is like auto supported VRR. And even if a game doesn't have it listed, it can do something on the back end that does something to the TV that makes the game appear something like VRR. That's listen, that's the amount of clarity and quality shit you're gonna get here on this show when it comes to the technical workings of anything computer related. Like, I, I am the biggest caveman PS5 user ever. I load the game in, I turn it on, and box make picture. Like, that's
That's that's the benefit of console gaming.
that's all I care about. Box make picture. That's it. And my box make good picture. And so that's really all I get with this. I'm a huge fan of FFX2. Dude, God, that game was done dirty. It could have could have been greatness. But I think the state of play was great, showing off the characters. I'm super happy that we're gonna see Sid. Uh, um, oh shoot, the one from God, Josh is gonna kill me. The one from Crisis Core. She's in it. Sisney. She's in it. We are going to be able to play as uh, Yuffie and the traversal mechanics. Dude, they added specific environmental box make picture. Absolutely. Somebody clipped that shit. Like, this is how stupid console gamers are. Yes. Yes, we
Yeah, we are.
like yes, we get it. We know. Um, but like all of it, the whole cast, I get to play as all of these people in it. And they all have specific world traversing mechanics. They all interact with the world a bit differently, which means you're going to have to be swapping out between them. So it kind of gives it that, kind of gives it that Tales of kind of vibe. Or even one of the, even Ease 9 gives it to where, like, if a character has a certain ability, your main character, or whoever you're playing as, they can all share that ability through, like, the Monstrum link. And so, like, it's pretty cool, but this one's making you switch characters in between, which is going to keep you engaged longer, going to make exploration more fun. And that is one thing that I do think does lead to, like, that open linear type thing. Like, maybe they'll put the section before the giant marsh that you have to before the giant marsh. So that's Nibelheim, and I think that's Nibelheim, Calm, and the Chocobo Farm, all in one like plot. And I don't know. There's so many freaking ways that they can do it, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. This game, I am almost. I, do I want to make a prediction 3 weeks early? Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I'm good at those. Um, I'm gonna say that this game is gonna sell more than Final Fantasy 16 did.
Oh, yeah, I will. That's not even a prediction, Thrifty.
That's not.
Come on, dude. Let's be real here. Even I know about Final. When I think of Final Fantasy, before I even knew anything about Final Fantasy, I thought of seven. Like I didn't even know it was seven, but when I'm picturing the game in my mind, that's what I thought of. Was Final Fantasy VII. Cloud, the Buster Sword, like those things are I think they're the most iconic out of all the Final Fantasies. Is that Buster Sword with Cloud, Tifa, I mean all the characters like they're just super iconic in pop culture. That's who they reference is Final Fantasy VII. So yes, it's definitely gonna sell more than 16.
It's going to be nuts that a group of players who are griping about we don't want remakes, we don't want remasters, are about to make a remake #1 on the charts. I'm sorry, this shit's just funny to me. Like hearing hate gamers talk, like it's so funny. So in in the Magic the Gathering community, we have these channels that a couple of them I'm actually subscribed to that I call Magic hate channels. So a new set will release, and they'll be like, Wizards of the Coast is charging way too much for this set. There's not enough good reprints in it, blah, blah, blah. Then the next set will be printed with a ton of awesome, cool cards from back in the day, really expensive cards. It's going to make the card prices drop for us players who are trying to buy them to play with them. Whatever. Then they come out and go, oh no, there's too many reprints in this set. I can't believe they're going to tank the market. Like, you just can't make them happy. And it's because
No,
negativity sells. And so, like, people who are like, we hate remasters, we hate remakes, dog, I, I want you to know that this game is about to be #1 on the charts for a couple weeks. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is about to come out as a remake and is about to dog walk most of the other games out coming out at that time.
I
Like,
guess remakes don't really. I think what gamers mean by hating the remakes is don't just do a remake that's identical to what it was before without adding anything to it. Like I think that's the biggest frustration. Or when it's like immediately after. But Final Fantasy VII, we're talking what 30 years? I mean, that's a long ass time. That game deserves a remake. And I think it's very important that we do remake these games. And I have a whole list of games that I would like to see remake. One, because I couldn't afford it at the time to buy the games. Two, I just didn't know about them. Three, I was in a different place in my life where I wasn't playing games. And now to be able to play the best version of that game, hell yeah, man. But the other thing too is just because you're putting out remakes doesn't mean that we stop putting out new IPs. That's the other thing. We can't rely just on remakes all the time. And I think that right now PlayStation is in the remake era. Look, I'm not against it. A lot of these games I haven't played before, but just do it right. You guys are in love with Final Fantasy VII. You guys, the fans, hardcore fans, have been saying how awesome and great it is and how such a great job they did. For somebody like me, it makes it very easy to go ahead and just jump into and play the game because if you guys are the hardcore gamers, and I definitely take what you say into consideration because you know. So it's just, I mean, it's just a great time overall for remakes, and some people may not see it like that because where are the Sony first party, games? And so there's truth to both sides.
yeah, and one of the other things that we have a very short term selective memory problem because we remember a lot of stuff in the short term, but we pick and choose what we want to remember from 5, 10 years ago. So
Yes,
when the
sir.
PlayStation 4 came out, two of the first games that I remember buying on it were Last of Us Remastered and Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. And those were two games that
Sleeping
I had
Dogs.
played
Oh,
and
good
beat on.
game.
It's so good. The entire fuck guys, if y'all haven't played Sleeping Dogs, I say this probably once every 3 months. If you have not played Sleeping Dogs, go to a thrift store, find it for $1, and go home and play it. Like
Dude, it's on sale on PlayStation all the time.
It's on sale everywhere. You can find it at Walmart in the $5 DVD bin sometimes. Like it literally goes for nothing. Find it. Get it. It is get past the oldness of the graphics because I played it last year and it does look old now. But play it. It's so freaking good. Sleeping dogs don't sleep. Mine do. Mine sleep all the time. I got Ring cameras at my house, and I watch those bastards sleep all day. That's all they do. Um, ooh, Dominique, aka Texas Rebel Gamer. I'm not against remakes or remasters. I'm just tired of Naughty Dog remastering games. Fair enough. That's
That
what.
is true. That is true.
That's what.
The exception is freaking Naughty Dog.
The exception is Naughty Dog because their remakes and remasters are just
Dude,
not that groundbreaking.
no. Fuck, dude, 4 years, not even 4 years apart, 3 years apart, dude.
Mhm.
Like, that's insane.
At least they only charged $10 for it and gave a new mode to it.
That's true. At least, yeah,
Like
that's.
that
Hmm.
was its only saving grace, and we all said that. Speaking
Yeah.
of stuff that has been said, I just want to let y'all in. Hey guys, we're going to talk about the channel real quick. 400 subs, 100 away from. Actually, I'm sorry, 99 away from 500. Really would love to get there ASAP. And I have some stuff working on the back end to kind of help push that a little bit. Um, and so once I get that figured out, I'll be making an announcement. But like, seriously, hit that dang subscribe button. There's like 15 of y'all here right now. There were 25 here earlier. Like, hit that sub button. We talk about gaming. As you can see, guys, we are gamers. Like, I haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes of tonight, and we're already almost an hour in. Like, this is what we do. We've had topics on the show before where we're like, yeah, man, we got to cover this. And we never get to it. And it's totally fine. The show goes on. Nobody's upset because y'all don't necessarily know what we're covering. So it's like we don't have to pull back the Wizard of Oz curtain. Um, but I do want to take y'all into this because one of the things that I like about YouTube is it keeps records of everything, every comment, everything that was said, every like, everything I've ever said or predicted or made an argument for is on my YouTube. If anybody wants to know what I said, they can go back and watch the videos. They're there. As Twisted, uh, not Twisted, shoot, hang on. I'm going to say this wrong, and I do it every freaking time. So I'm not going to do that. Um, Hang on. Let me make sure that I say this right. So, Tornado Screw, there we go. In our Discord, he said something earlier that really, really stuck with me. And let me try to find it real quick. That's not what he said. I just saw some GD. That's gangster. I don't know what he was talking about. Um, it was earlier. Okay. It was Toys for Bob is shutting down. Like that's the rumor going around right now. So no more Crash, Spyro, anything. So Microsoft basically just shit on my childhood. But like, there's a record here right now of him saying whatever is happening over there is like they're holding a big payroll cleanup as to have less expenditures on employees or studios for that matter, doing a whole lot more with a whole lot less seems in this case to fit not at all or no or seems to not fit any studio at all. So like he's basically giving some sort of like, hey, this is exactly what's happening. So in a few weeks, if somebody comes out and says, hey, this is exactly what happened, he's able to sit there and go, hey guys, guess what? I said that. And it's even funnier. It's even funnier when people call you out and say that you have no earthly idea what you're talking about and that you're completely wrong. And then no more than 3 weeks later, you get told that you're right. So, I'm just going to read this to you. I'm not going to give this guy the credit of telling y'all who he was, but if you want to know, it's on my X. It says Xbox. This was 3 weeks ago during the live show. Xbox games on Switch and PS5. LOL, that's as likely to happen as hell freezing over. I responded, if I am wrong in my assessment, then I will admit that. But for now, with all the leaks, purchases, and data support, but for now, all the leaks, purchases, and data support them going third party. And then this person said, literally nothing you can find supports that they are going third party. Fake leaks aren't data, and their purchases doesn't support that either. Your weak argument is nothing more than nonsense. And so I said, okay. And then he said it's all factually inaccurate, blah, blah, blah. And I just said, okay, we shall see. And then he goes, no, you don't get it. There's nothing to see because it's not happening. This is a dude, this is like crap gamer level of like denial. This is insane. Like, he's now getting frustrated, and I can see that. If you were so sure there was any basis in fact, you would have presented something of substance, but you didn't because there's nothing to prove this. I said I won't debate in comments. We will see, though. You might be right. Let's wait and find out. And then today, 3 weeks later, because I'm petty as hell, I go on there and I said, how are you feeling now? Welcome to the playground. And so, like, guys, we have been sitting there saying these things. We have receipts. Tornado Screw in the chat earlier said we got documents on all these fuckers. Like, we have receipts. Anything that I say, I know can be brought back up against me, so I be sure not to talk out of my ass. Will comes in here when I send him articles, which, once again, sorry I didn't get to send those to you tonight. We're actually not using any. But when he comes in, he has notes off of the articles that I've sent him because he wants to make sure that he's giving y'all an accurate assessment of what he's read. Because we know, especially with me trying to grow this channel, we know that anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of Twitter.
Internet is forever.
Twitter is forever. It's worse than herpes. They can actually cure herpes. They cannot cure Twitter. And so, like, oh, hang on, somebody messaged me. By the way, Tim Daw confirmed what we thought. MS was paying those toxic fans to hide.
Yes. I will get into that. I will get into that, like, guys. I got a whole spiel about that.
Guys, this is why I don't need notes tonight. This is all the same bullshit that I've been saying since March of last year when ABK started to get purchased and it started to come down to the freaking wire. This is the same freaking bullcrap that I was saying then, and I got laughed at by the chat when I was on the Saltiest Gaming podcast saying that Xbox was going to have to go third party to substantiate this. And then they're going to have to lose their branding because of it, because there's no way in hell PlayStation is going to let the Xbox logo fly under the PlayStation household. And I was told, nah, man, the Xbox won't do that. Xbox won't do that. Bullshit. Xbox is doing that. That's the only route they had to go. And me and so many others called it, and we were called everything except our names. And my goodness, this is why tonight is a sweet sorrow for me, because I don't want to see this happen. But at the same time,
perfect freaking phrase, sweet sorrow. I like that.
I love Hamlet, so that's actually from Hamlet. It's where Ophelia's talking to Hamlet, or Hamlet's talking to Ophelia. And they basically say that parting is such sweet sorrow. So it's like parting is sweet because it was great to be with you and great to have our time together. But once I leave you, I'm sad. So like it's really,
like, better to have love than to never have loved at all.
Right. Better to have loved than lost than. So anyways, I was.
Damn, we're putting Hamlet in the show. Jeez, come on, guys. We're cultured over here. Okay, we eat peanut butter and jelly, not just peanut butter. Get with it.
I can't tell you what my PlayStation does or how it does it, but I can tell you about some damn cultured stuff. We got you. But that's because I don't have my head so far up PlayStation's ass that when I spit, it's blue.
Bingo.
Like, so that's the other thing. All we were doing was taking the information and logically applying like thought. What's up, Mohammed? Logically applying thought to this. Oh, they're about to purchase one of the largest publishers in the world. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to support that with 25 million players. I don't think that's going to work. Falky said it the whole time. Also, guys, thank y'all for posting me on that. David Falky will be on the show within the coming weeks.
Yes. I
Um,
tagged you in that. He said he's available.
I know. You tagged me in it. I think Hero tagged me in it. Like, there were a few people trying to get my attention because he was like, hey, I'm open for business. And I was like, And when he said nobody's asked, and I was like, oh, let me fix that. I got you. Like,
Dude is so knowledgeable, man, especially with the numbers. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to
he
cut you off.
is. No, no, you're good. He is so knowledgeable. And he called this. I was on Doomsayer's pod. So the way this all freaking happened, I started with Salty. I had my channel. I was in Salty's chat. I do a couple super chats here and there. And he really liked some of my takes. So he had reached out and said, hey, man. Or no, he had did an open mic night. And I reached out and said, hey, man, I'd love to be on the show. He goes, cool. Do you have a mic that's not a tin can? And I said, yes, it's one step above. And so, like, went on the show, and the audience vibe with me, the cast vibe with me. And so he messaged me and said, hey, would you like to come back? And I said, yeah. Then after that one, he was like, hey, do you want to be full time? Well, on that full time episode where he had asked me to go and do the show every week, Doomsayer was on that show. And then Doomsayer asked me to be on his show, which was the following Friday. And from there, that's how I made connections with Nelson and Falky and Cerebral Paul and like all those guys. And Retro 13, he's been on the show. Or sorry, Retro. I don't think it's 13, but y'all know who that is. He's the GT7 guy. And so like that's how that all like tied in. And during that time was during the ABK thing. That's why Doomsayer wanted me on because he had kind of a pro Xbox guy on also, and he wanted me to take the side of pro PlayStation. Super simple to do because I just gave like factual or not factual, logical TS Retro. Thank you. I gave just logical assessment of what was going on, and the Xbox guy couldn't really say shit to that.
You never can.
He was like, "Well, you don't have proof." That's always their. Mm, mm.
Hmm.
I don't fucking need proof if I have a brain. Like, I don't wait for my kid to screw up when I. I think he will too. Him and I talk daily and weekly, but I think Salty will return. He's he's trying to get some stuff squared away right now, and like I said, him and I do talk quite a bit. So I keep up on him because gaming is where I build community and where I build relationship, and so like mainly because I have nowhere else to go at night except except to the gaming world. And so like because I have the same things that Will does. I got that 40-hour a week job, which is more like a 50-hour a week job. I
Yeah.
got the wife, the kids, and like it's hectic. And so that was what happened yesterday. I got tied up with work, got tied up with home, couldn't watch nothing. But guys, we have called this repeatedly. I've had that dipstick on X literally pull me out, or not pull me out. He's clipped me, I think, twice, and he's clipped me when Lono was responding to one of my messages in his one of his live streams. Like, we have people who hate watch the show already, which I think is hilarious.
That's
Speaking
awesome.
of that, if you're hate watching, go ahead and hit subscribe.
Yeah, dude.
If you want to keep hate watching, I will let you, no
Hell
problem.
yeah.
Just go ahead and say subscribe. It's easy.
Matter of
It's
fact,
free.
leave a comment and say how much you were wrong. Do that too.
Yeah, I messaged that guy and RPG in the or not RPG, Quiet Doom in the Discord when he saw the tag at the bottom that said "Welcome to the playground." He was like, "Damn, that was cold." I was like, I wanted to put "bitch" at the end, to be honest. Just because,
uh,
here's the deal, man. I keep records of everything. I like my brain when I saw what happened today. My brain immediately went back to that message and was like, "Oh, I wonder how that guy's doing today." But Okay, so let's recap. Tim Stewart comes out and says Nintendo are enemies. We don't see them as competition. We see them as the same. Whether they're friends, essentially. We're gonna they're gonna be business partners. Got it. Phil comes out and says, no, that's not actually happening.
Okay.
Then sorry, hang on.
Imagine if my boss said some shit like that. I'm like, yeah, nah, bro.
No, no,
You don't know what you're talking about.
just Miles Morales'm. Nah,
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna do my own thing. Anyways, now you go forward. The FTC is pissed off at him because they said they weren't going to do what they did in cutting 1,900 employees. You have other Xbox studios who are terrified.
Wait. Thrifty. Oh, you mean the 1900 employees or the time they said they weren't going to make Bethesda games exclusives? Which one? Because I'm a little confused on what
Well,
they said that they
well,
didn't
the
and they
second
did and they
one,
did not.
the second one is about to get rectified. It's not going to help because the damage is done, but the second
Yeah.
one is about to get rectified. And so it's it's super funny because now we're sitting here in this moment. Okay, so you had that, right? I'm sorry, I was about to go off on something else. You have those two things. Then combine that with the fact that we have Hi-Fi Rush and Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves supposed to be coming. Then it comes out that no, it's also Starfield. Oh, then Halo, the new Halo job posting says must be able to work on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Then you go further than that, and now they are addressing. Phil Spencer's going to come out Monday and address. Oh shit, cool. No, it's actually not Phil Spencer. It's Microsoft. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Big Daddy, Big Swing on the Dick is coming out Monday.
So now we're in this position. It won't be Monday.
Thrifty,
I know.
all
Next
Phil
week.
can do next week. All Phil can do is sit in the baby seat in the back, let Microsoft strap him in so he's safe for the moment, and just go along for the ride. He's got no control of what's about to happen.
No, none. And what's really funny is we have talked forever about how when Phil admitted that he is overpaid for his job, we were all like, yeah, we've said that for years. We get it. And the Xbox community was like, no, you're doing great. You're fantastic. Take it just a tad deeper to where it tickles the back of the throat, and maybe he'll give you a good game. Maybe.
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 And look,
Like,
just don't get it twisted, guys. Just so you guys know, I don't know if Thrifty feels like that, but whenever I see like an executive or C-suite executive or somebody in upper management in these gaming companies and they're gamers, that makes me feel good. That kind of gets me excited a little bit, right? I'm like, oh man, there's something I can relate with this person, and they kind of see where we're coming from. So that does make me feel nice, right? But that's only that. We cannot allow our feelings towards one thing or one person dictate everything else, because then thirsty continue on. That's what happens.
uh, actually, I'm going to turn that back over to you. I have a question for you, real quick, and
Yeah.
I need to break away just for about like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, I have a question for you that I want to hear. So we had the Tim Stewart thing and we had the Phil Spencer thing, and that was the first thing where it was like, oh, there actually is public, like, they are not synced up, period. And for so long between Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer, they would have these like what felt like I don't know that they did. I don't follow these guys around. I don't even follow them on Twitter. Like I just it feels like they met up and called each other and said, "All right, what bullshit are we saying today? All right, cool. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. But Phil, that's not going to work. Satya, yes, it will. Yes, it will. It'll work. It'll work. It'll work. Fine. And now the financial guy, Tim Stewart, came in and said, hey, guys, that's actually not going to work. And I don't give a shit what y'all say. We're going to
Hmm.
do this. The studios don't even fucking know what's
No.
going on right now. Like, so what is your thought on that? Like, do you think that PlayStation has ever kept their studios as in the dark right now as this, and I want to hear why you think they've had to do that. And so I'm going to step away and I'll be right back.
So to answer Thrifty's question, no and yes and no. So Microsoft mismanagement with this whole fucking thing, right? It goes beyond the games. Obviously, this is not a problem PlayStation is having. This is not a problem Nintendo is having. Are we asking, okay, is PlayStation keeping their studios in the dark as they are with their fans? The answer to that is obviously no, they are not. We have proof. We have seen the documentaries of God of War. We have seen the documentaries with The Last of Us Grounded, the first one. We have seen interviews with developers and the publishers. And we know that PlayStation corporate and their studios, they are they're tight. They're tight with each other, they communicate with each other back and forth. That is why PlayStation only comes out to speak to the audience, to speak to the gamers when they have solid information to give us. There is really never any question with PlayStation. Now, correct me in the chat in the chat if I'm wrong. When do we get information from PlayStation where we all felt iffy about it? Meaning they said something and we weren't quite sure what they really mean, and we got to talk to each other to see what crying Jim Ryan said and trying to cipher his words. When? Please, anybody on the chat, let me know when we'd had that happen. Because I can recollect a whole bunch of times when we hopped on X and the bots were explaining to us what really Phil said. Oh no, he didn't mean that. This is what he said. Where we have to pull up a transcript and go line by line, word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, double cross check, dot the T's, or cross the T's, dot the I's, reference 3 years ago. That's what Xbox do. In order for us to get the quality of games that we've been getting from PlayStation, specifically this generation and the end of the PS4 generation, there has to be daily, weekly communication. Not just is Phil Spencer miscommunicating with his boss, not only is his boss miscommunicating with the money guy, but Xbox as a whole is miscommunicating with their, what do you call these people? Their influencers. Tim Dog today just admitted that he
Get into that shit.
was getting favors for promoting Xbox. And look, we all knew this, right? Remember when the Series X came out? They were handing them out like Oprah handed out schools in her TV show. You get a Series X, you get a Series X, you get a Series X. Guys that played one game on their YouTube,
$309 on sale online. Have fun. Go ahead.
guys that were that they say their YouTube channel is a reaction channel, right? You go to their channel, you listen to they're reacting to a music video, and you want to get their opinion. They play 2 minutes of Halo, they get a free Xbox. Like, and we've also heard from IGN, we heard from all these gaming journalists when they're joking with each other live on YouTube or on their videos on how simpish Microsoft has been. What was the name of that girl that I think she worked for IGN where she was clowning Xbox because she had like 3 or 4 Series X's in her garage? She's like, yeah, I got Series X's for days. They keep sending them to me. I don't even want them anymore. So we knew Microsoft was trying to buy their support. Microsoft was trying to, and look, that's all they had. Literally, that's all they had because what? The first year of the generation, how many AAA games they released? None.
Mm.
2021, how many games they released? 2022, how many games? 2023, Pentiment. Come on, let's be real, guys. So when Thrifty says, for this conversation, we don't need article. We don't. It's because we've been saying this shit forever. Like, dude, if there's smoke, there's fire. We've been seeing that these guys are going way too hard for a product that isn't producing absolutely anything. As a matter of fact, it gets worse because over the last 3 years, how many times did Game Pass increase price? How many times did they cancel Xbox Live? How many times did something within their ecosystem change for the worse? numerous times without receiving anything in return. It's not like they got brand new spanking AAA games to go along with that price increase. Oh wait, Redfall. My bad. So it doesn't take a genius. When we're talking about articles, we don't need them for this conversation because the proof has been in the pudding by their actions. And back in when was it? December thrifty when the Bungie layoff. I'm gonna keep bringing this up because it makes me feel powerful over you guys.
I think it was
When
November.
November, when we were talking about PlayStation's future and how some people in the community were freaking out because we didn't have any games right for 2024. And something that I said, which applies to this, is the reason I'm not freaking out is because based on their history, PlayStation has come through. And as soon as they don't come through, then I'll reevaluate how much of goodwill I'm going to give them moving forward. That's the same way or the same energy I went with Xbox. I'm not going to go based on what they tell me. I'm going to go based on their actions. And what I saw was shitty Redfall, shitty Starfield, Halo Infinite shitty, missing features, no co-op. I can't play that game with my son. Forza Motorsport, same thing, missing features, shitty details. And the last thing I'll say before I pass it back to you, I've been laughing, and Josh, you've seen this too, and Josh reminded me about this on X, where guys keep saying that they're going to be guinea pigs for us PlayStation gamers, right? Because they're saying, yeah, we're going to get these games day and date. We're the ones that are going to play the games. We're going to find the bugs and all this stuff. And then the Xbox is going to, get them patched up and ready to go. And then PlayStation is going to it's going to get the complete and working order game, right? And then on the PS5 Pro, they'll be able to play 60 frames. And I'm like, okay, I saw that once. I saw it twice. And I kept seeing it over and over again. And then some dude
Fucking hell.
commented on my post and said, let's be real here. In this generation, how many big games have you seen that are 60 frames? I couldn't believe my freaking eyes.
Every
And I
fucking one
look
I've played.
every freaking game. And then I said, and not just that, we also get 40 frames. Like, what are
Most
you
of the
talking
time.
about? But these dudes have been so hardcore with a product that has given them nothing, nothing in return, absolutely nothing. And I consider day and date on Game Pass to be nothing as well. Because, like I said, not every single game that comes out day and date on Game Pass is not going to appease every single person. Now, that is true for PlayStation as well. But what makes it different on Game Pass is that you don't have 5 million active users. You don't have 10 million active users. And notice how I'm not saying sales numbers because obviously they're at where they're at because they don't sell any fucking thing. But their active users don't match the quality of customer base that PlayStation or Nintendo has on their side. So it just blows my mind. And another thing that really makes me suspicious, and this is how I know that they have just been bullshitting this whole time, especially somebody like Tim Dog. And we know he was bullshitting because he admitted it today, right? But I'm using him as an example because he's a very well-known guy. He's got, close to 100K followers, and he's known. So I'm not picking on him, but I'm just using him as an example. Almost overnight, I hope you can hear this. I snapped my fingers, right? Almost overnight. Now it's like somebody flicked on the light, and now they see what we've been saying for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, right? Now, all of a sudden, day and date makes no sense. All of a sudden, them not coming out with games was the wrong thing, right? All of a sudden, like all these things, right? Overnight. And I'm like, wow, you came to that conclusion in 10 minutes. You read the rumors, you read the articles from Tom, what's his name? Tom Anderson? The big
Uh,
journalist
yeah.
guy for I think his name's Tom Anderson. You for Jeff Grubb, you read these from bootleg jazz, right? You read the articles, and now it clicked. I'm like, oh shit, day and date was a waste. Ah shit, we really needed games. I don't know what I was like. Come on, dude, be real. You knew that we were right. You knew. So when we talk about how Xbox has failed, right? We talked earlier before Thrifty asked me the question. I said that not only some miscommunication between Xbox and Phil and Satya and the finance guy, not only was that all messed up, right? but also the miscommunication between Xbox and their influencers, right? The Tim Dogs of this world. Not only that, but also they were falsifying the information. I want to say information, but they were falsifying their influence on people, and they were bought and paid for, and not just the little guys, which I I think Tim is a little guy when you're speaking in the scope of things, right? When we're talking in comparison to like IGN and all these big, journalists, he's a little guy, but not just a little guy like Tim, but also these big publications. IGN, remember Frost? Remember that? I mean, all these people that
Uh,
went so hard.
that's another person I want to message and go, "How you doing?"
Yeah, how you doing? They're all liars. That's why I do not this. And now we're going a little bit above gaming, right? Because I'm a very I don't want to say I'm a good person because I don't think I'm a good person. I try to do good things. I try to do the right things, right? A couple things that when I'm raising my son, I tell him we don't cheat, we don't steal, we don't lie. We don't do none of these things. The only time we ever do these things is if it's somebody's life is on the line. That's the only time we make an exception. But we're going to speak the honest truth, whether it hurts feelings, whether it hurts us. We say the truth, right? These people, as human beings, I cannot trust them. Because if they're easily bought and sold for a freaking plastic box, quote unquote, like they love to say, right? Especially now, who cares where the game goes? It's just the plastic box. If they're willing to lie and be sold for something like that, what about all the other shit? What about the important shit in our lives? The politics of this world and the hunger and all the terrible things that are going on around this world. How can we trust them where something so simple they can't even keep faith on? So it's just a disgusting mess. And yes, like Thrifty said, was it Thrifty bittersweet or not bittersweet, but Hamlet here? Um,
Sweet sorrow.
Sweet sorrow. It is for me because ever since I was a little kid, man, or early teenagers, Xbox was a console. It was an option for me. Halo. I mean, I just beat all the Halos in January. I beat all the Gears. Like it's always been Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, right? It's always been that way. And in the early 2000s, the competition was fierce. I mean, all the nostalgic of these games and just the environment, right? Pop culture, like all that. It's like we're moving past that, It's like we're going to another phase of our lives. It's like, oh, I just went through my teens. I'm in my 20s. I'm in my 30s. I'm married. I got kids, a new career. Like that's how big it feels to me, and it is sorrow because I don't. I know a lot of us in this community never wanted Xbox to fail. We just wanted them to do better. That's what we really wanted. Because we go where the games are. We love PlayStation because PlayStation has taken care of us with giving a good quality product that we can buy, right? That we can spend our hard-earned money on. And that's the same thing we wanted from Xbox. Imagine coming home after a long day and you get a 3-day weekend because this, I don't know, Easter or something. And I don't know, the wife took the kids to grandma's house and you're going to have the whole weekend to yourself, and now you're sitting in front of your couch like, man, I really want to play this Halo on Xbox, but wait, this came out on PlayStation 5, but wait, Nintendo just dropped this game, but wait, Xbox has this other game. Like, imagine a world like that. That would be, like, amazing. But no, instead, we're here talking about how we don't have enough time just on PlayStation, which we're thankful for, right? But Xbox gave you a different flavor of games, especially during the 360 era. They were just different, there's a different feel to them, a different vibe to them. It was just the way they made them was different. The stories in them were different. And look where we're at now. So it is a very sorrow moment for me. I don't want Xbox to go away, but I also don't want a product that's out there that gives close to no benefit.
Yeah, it's so you're talking about all these creators, and let's so I was doing some research for the show just now, and this is what's so cool
Hey,
about the
Thrifty, were you
community.
the kid in the back of the class where the teacher's picking up the homework and you're just trying to fill it out as fast as you can before she gets to your desk?
No, no, but you mentioned X, and I was like, let me see what's going on right now. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I got some stuff for y'all. Here's how cool the PlayStation community is. I want you to hear this. We are gamers first, and our box of choice is the PlayStation. Here's one of the cool things about our community. Tim Dog posted this 5 hours ago. Okay? Says, Foxy, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be real about it. A good source in my DM said that this game is coming to Xbox. Wait, and we shall see. But I am amazed how Sony does this games as a service, and right off the bat, they might have a hit on their hands. Constant W for Sony. They just know what they are doing. I was too stubborn before to say that, but man, really, they are insane at making games. This game is a hit. Now, hang on. Remember, I mentioned Retro earlier. He's been on the show. He's a
Yes,
friend of
sir.
the channel. He's just not. This is why I don't ask a lot of UK guys on here, which is
Yeah,
why I've
you
never
good.
asked Falky, because yeah, I didn't. I figured it was a no. And
And
they were
shout
talking
out to
about,
Retro real quick because he's the one that helped me decide on a racing game because he's such a GTA 7 or GTA. Look at me, GT7 fan. So whenever I have a question about a racing game, I always go to him and he always responds on PlayStation. So shout out to him.
yeah, and let me tell you what he says. Uh, Hang on, I was responding to chat. Yes, it's Helldivers that they're talking about. And then Retro sends or retweets and quote tweets him and says, "If you have a PS5, jump on with us, man. Seriously, we jumping in soon. As soon as it goes live, and we will be playing all weekend. You are more than welcome to join us,
Mm-hmm.
guys." I'm telling y'all, when I hear, okay, so I just gave y'all that story, and like I got goosebumps on my arm from that. Like, we're not here to say no, this is all ours. You can't have any.
Yeah.
We just wanted you to listen,
Yeah.
and y'all didn't. And like now we're sitting here with Helldivers, and it says Wooly said this 57 minutes ago. I'm gonna say this after listening to XCloud Tim Dog's 7 hour space. There's absolutely no doubt Microsoft plays and manipulates content creators.
Yep.
Others they literally buy. This is where
Yep.
Tim and Colt differ. Tim was played, Colt was bought.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Who said that?
guys,
Willie?
yeah, Wooly did. I'm
Wow.
so
Great
happy Wooly's back,
observation.
guys.
Oh my
What's up,
goodness.
Kyle? I'm so happy he's back. But like stuff like that, and then Wooly got on to Tim from Retro's post and said, "All right, Tim, he being Canada's S right now, or I don't know why I did that. He's being Canada's shit right now, and it doesn't seem fickle either. Maybe I was too harsh. He was really blindsided. Like genuinely, this ain't no crap gamer shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude's gonna have a squad ready and waiting for him
Yeah.
because we are not the gatekeepers.
Nope.
If you want to come play the best games, the best platform, the best console with the best controller that's about to get an update,
Yep.
come on over. But if you're going to come over here spitting that bull crap that
Nope.
Sony did this and it's their fault and I can't believe it, if they would have let Microsoft have some of these exclusive deals, if they would have done this,
Yeah.
if you don't at least acknowledge, if you don't at least acknowledge, that's really cool, Hero, that what we said was right. And it's not even an, and as I'm saying that, I paused because I was like, that sounds very I told you so, very third grade. But
But
like,
it's true, Thrifty. It's
don't
true.
make up excuses.
No, because we don't. The thing, and where Thrifty's going with this, it, it it's 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 because we don't need the mistakes that you guys made over there to happen at PlayStation. Because look, a lot of these guys are gonna come to PlayStation, and they're more than welcome to. They're more than welcome to more gamers to play games with. Fuck yeah! Like, and I want to take this opportunity right now. If you have PlayStation, add me on PSN. Let's get some Helldivers 2 this weekend. Add me on there, right? But the point is that we don't want these guys coming in here, and then PlayStation comes out with some bullshit, and then since you're such a fanboy that you don't say anything and you protect them. No, not on this side. When PlayStation does some bullshit, we call them out. Now, I'm not saying that because we call them out, PlayStation all of a sudden is going to go back on their policy or anything that they came out with. Absolutely not. We're the hardcore gamers. We're not even the people that they're making games for. They're making games for the casuals. That's the majority of the market, right? But when we say stuff and we say it loud and early, early is key. Early. PlayStation tends, not just PlayStation, but any company tends to take a step back and really think about what they're doing. Because if they're getting that strong reaction right away, immediately from the, I call us the marketers, right? Because we're the ones that market these games. If a game is good, we're the first one out there promoting the game, telling people join us, let's play, let's do this, let's do that. The casuals hear about it. So I call us hardcore gamers the marketers for that reason. But if the marketers, now you know what that means, are feeling strongly about something, there is no company, or I shouldn't say that. It's very rare when a company will just dismiss that right away. And that is where the Xbox gamer is at fault. Because when the fuckery was going on, they defended, they protected that. And look where they're at now. Now they're all screaming bloody murder. Well, guess what? It's too late. You should have done this in 2017 when you heard Game Pass was day and date. And I understand where you're at, right? I say this all the time. I'm a selfish gamer, right? I don't care about you. I care about me. I care about my games. But at the same time, I care about the longevity of this medium that I truly adore, right? The thing that I invest money in, the thing that when I have free time is the first thing I want to do. I haven't even watched, like, guys, I watch maybe 2 movies a year because I much rather play games. 2 hours in a movie or 2 hours in a game. That's where I'm at. I choose the games every time. So I want to protect this medium for as long as I can. That's another reason why I'm a big component of physical media, right? My Helldivers should be arriving tomorrow physically from SIE, right? But we don't want these Xbox guys to come over here to our side and just ride with whatever PlayStation comes out with. No, that's unacceptable, guys. We have a voice. We are the ones that pay the bills at PlayStation. We're the ones that pay the bills at Sony. And if something is not right, we need to speak up. When the price increase happened for PS Plus, a lot of us said something. Did it change? No. But we voiced our concerns. When Game Pass, when they got rid of Live, how many of them protected it? How many of them came? Now, yes, it may make sense business wise, but that's one less option. And I'm all against taking options away. When the price increase from Game Pass happened, we heard mumblings. And then what happened? No, they have to because it's day and date and these games are expensive. They immediately protect everything that Xbox comes out with. And that's the problem. And so we don't want that bullshit. We don't want that over here because now you're going to affect my games. You're going to affect our community. You're going to affect our medium in the long run.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. If they come over here, we have standards, and those standards will be adhered to. Like PlayStation themselves knows it. Like they can't. It's the chicken or the egg thing, right? We always say that they give us good games. That's why we support them. Or do we support them because they give us good games? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
did, yes, it's a both and so many people try to put them against each other, and it's not. We have a standard. Sony definitely meets that standard, but what's even funnier is Sony is the one themselves that created that standard. So, like, it really is. Hey, this is what you've given us for years. Don't screw up.
Yes.
And it's not even that I would go over to Xbox. It's just that I wouldn't buy Sony games anymore. Like if
Hmm.
here's the fun thing. PlayStation has a couple stinkers every once in a while. They really do. We're not going to say
Absolutely.
they don't. They I think they lost a studio last year because the game was trash
Yeah,
that
the
was
Concrete
released.
Genie studio,
Um,
they
no, that game
closed
wasn't
down as
trashed. It
well.
was just
No, it
niche.
wasn't. Yes.
It was just niche and super expensive, like for what it was. But like stuff like that, did you spend too much? Did you like they have a we I'm sorry, we have a standard and they must meet that standard. If they start slipping on a consistent basis, Redfall, Starfield, Forza, then no releases in Q1,
Hmm.
like How many times? How many times? If PlayStation did that, oh my God, how many times do you think we would give them? I think that they would have three. They could do three in a row.
Yeah.
First game, we're gonna blow it off. It's not that big of a deal. We'll ride with our shields up. Like, no, it's not that bad. It was a game. It was a new whatever. They were trying to do this with it. It failed. Okay, cool. Second game, maybe from a different studio, maybe from one of the new studios that they're working with, and you're like, damn. All right, I don't, I don't like this. But it was a new studio, first time doing a PlayStation exclusive. Maybe that's what happened. And then you give me a third, dude, I'm going ballistic at that point. You get no grace. You get no, oh, maybe it was okay. No, hell no. You go three in a row and you're out. And that's and I'm only giving them three because of how much goodwill they have built up with me. Like, generally speaking, it would be like one. You get one. Cyberpunk is a great example. They got one because they had so much goodwill built up because of the Witcher series. They got one, and they
One of the best
used
games
that
ever
shit
made.
on Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
and they
And
used it
and
there.
and Thrifty, not to cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
and more often than not, I see, over here, and by over here I mean like, look, even just this podcast for example, me and Thrifty disagree on a lot of shit.
A
On
lot.
a lot of shit. We voice our opinions on. Thrifty comes on his side, I come on my side. We talk about it. Sometimes we're like, okay, I can see something. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking crazy, Thrifty, or you're crazy, Will, right? Even in the chat, we disagree all the time. Twisted has disagreed with me before about my taste in games, right? About especially when I talk about the hard ones, what they call Souls like.
Oh, that
But
was the
what I
Claymores too.
or Claymore. I'm sorry, Twisted. My bad, bro. The Claymores. You're right. But that's cool. But when you don't really see that on the Xbox side. They're usually patting each other on their back, like, yeah, they usually have the same view. They have the same. Like, dude, you can't. How many people shit? The only people I seen shit on Halo Infinite were the guys that basically only played Halo Infinite. Same thing with the Forza Motorsport, this new one that just came out with the missing features and shit. The guys that I seen shitting on that were the guys that mainly played Forza Motorsport. But if you're talking about a general consensus, like us here, that we play a little bit of everything, right? Even games that we may not really like, but we try it out because Thrifty said, "Hey, this game is pretty cool. I think you may like it. I'll check it out." Even us on this side, we will talk about what we like, what we don't like, what we agree, what we disagree with. You don't see that from that side, and that's super concerning because if you cannot stand this one, and literally we all know salt water has salt in it, you cannot sit there and say no, it doesn't have salt. It's just that your body is sensitive, so therefore you're picking up salt when it really isn't. That's the type of shit that an Xbox player would say. It's like, no, dude, be real with the shit, because now you get into a situation of where you're at now.
Yeah, and like Josh is sitting here going, I called Thrifty a ducking idiot earlier.
Yeah. Yes,
And I'm
absolutely.
pretty sure it was over my Final Fantasy IX take. That one usually
Probably.
riles up the community. Whoa, we had a bad blip. Holy cow. We just went from 25 in here down to 9. Whoo.
Yeah, I think it's acting up because my chat on my phone sometimes it populates and sometimes I gotta close out and reopen it and then it catches
Yeah,
back
I
up.
just got like Oh, Henry's here. What's up, Henry?
What up,
Uh,
Henry? Helldivers, Henry. Helldivers.
Zero Steel, what's up? I said hi to you in the chat. Wanted to mention it here. Yeah, that's real weird that we had such a big blip. Uh, Microsoft makes better quality games. We got standards. No shit.
Yeah, okay. You said the same shit when you were in third place. Now you're in no place and you're still saying the same shit, dude. Wake up.
PS fans and Nintendo fans have digital blood on their hands. It's
That
from
made me
somebody
true.
named I Paint Houses. It says, "You Sony and Nintendo fans are to blame. You refuse to support the third wheel, and now And now you're reaping what you sowed. Higher
Dude, it's a
console prices, less innovation, and less urgency. Sure, you may now have access or have more access to a wider selection of games, but at what price? The long-term landscape may be forever doomed, and the guilt will not be easily washed away with marathon sessions of Forza and Halo. There's digital blood on your hands. Shame. Holy
okay,
crap.
Thrifty. I really want to break this down, but I really don't. But let me ask him a question. So, do you think that PlayStation gamers are just robots and we're just like, oh, $70, take my money, no matter what? That's what you're saying? You're saying we have no thought over here to go to the store or, like you say, digitally and push on the X a few times, or wait, like people say, the cross button and push it a few times to purchase that game digitally. That's what you're saying, that we don't just sit here and be like, is it worth spending the $70? Because $70 can get me a lot of groceries. $70 can pay for my internet bill. $70 can pay for my cell phone bill. Is
I
that
need
what
the
you're
internet.
saying?
I don't need food.
Facts. I don't even know why I brought up food into this. Such silly me. But that's
Silly
what they
you. We
really
don't need
think.
to eat.
See the value in it. And just like I was talking earlier with my buddy Jerk Chicken,
Ooh, that
they could
sounds
have put
good.
Final Fantasy. Yes, it does. He's Jamaican. That's why he
I
Jerk Chicken.
figured, but it still sounds delicious.
Delicious. But like I told him, if Final Fantasy Rebirth said, "Hey, this game's gonna cost $100," I would still buy it. Why? Because I see the value in it. It's not about price; it's about value. And just like I buy an indie game for $15, or I buy a big AAA deluxe edition like I did with Final Fantasy at 100, I see the value in it. There's games like Halo Infinite that I didn't see the value. Games like Forza Motorsport that I didn't see the value, even though it's part of my Game Pass subscription. I didn't see the value enough to even download it to my console. That's the difference.
So here's one of the other differences. Like, so PlayStation and their marketing team, right? They fucking market people. I have seen that. So I was watching so I stopped paying for YouTube Premium because they went up to like $20 a month or something. It drives me nuts. So I stopped paying for it, which means now I have ads. And I saw a Final Fantasy VII remake or a Rebirth ad, followed by a Helldivers ad,
Mm,
and I was like, "Damn,
yeah,
this
yeah,
shit's everywhere." Like,
yeah.
and granted, I know it uses an algorithm and kind of caters ads and stuff like that, but still. And then JTech TV, just posted a little earlier about PlayStation knows how to get you to pre-order their games because
Yeah, they
like
do.
you get a special outfit for Stellar Blade, you get a special outfit, you get to change, you get to put some glasses on her, and you get earring armor or something like that. Like that's that's cool. It's fun. It's a little thing. They're playing into the hype for Eve for their main character. She is the most beloved and talked about main character right now that I can remember in a long time. Like people are
Oh, did you
genuine.
see? Did you see that they're even talking about? Oh man, what's that big anime company? Oh man, they make a lot of good anime TV shows. That the CEO of
Funimation?
Skill Up. No, not Funimation. It's a different one. I'll send you the tweet or the article later, Thrifty, when I find it. But the CEO for, I think the company name is Skill Up, the one that is making Stellar Blade. He got approached to make anime in regards to Stellar Blade. So he said, yeah, absolutely. Anything that can, if people are interested in my character, absolutely. So that is going to be something to look forward to in the future. And also, let's not forget that some of these companies, including Bungie, including, I mean, so many of them, Death Stranding, Kojima, can see the benefit in just not making games with Sony, but or being partners with Sony and not just for the video game. That is something that is really attractive to people. It's attractive to me because if I'm in love with a character, I want to see more of them, right? If I can see them in an anime, like the Cyberpunk anime on Netflix, that is such a good anime. And I'm not a big anime fan, so I don't know how it compares to like other animes, but I really enjoyed it. I really love Cyberpunk. I still say it's one of the best video games in the history of video games. So being able to go into that on Netflix and watch more of a story with different characters in the Cyberpunk world, like I was super geeked out about that. So you just get a lot more with PlayStation. And something that people have been saying, right, with Xbox not being around anymore, or in the way that we know it anymore, is PlayStation and competition, right? That's been the big thing,
Mm,
and which I agree. There is going to be less competition with Xbox being around in its
it
current
is,
format,
and that sucks.
but, and that does suck. But let's not forget, Sony is an entertainment company. Their whole thing is entertainment. So Sony is competing against iPhone, Amazon, Google. They're competing against any form of entertainment in this world, music, movies. I mean, you say it, Sony is competing against it. So yes, is it going to take a hit? Absolutely. The PlayStation is not just going to slouch because, like I mentioned earlier, so did Thrifty, we have standards. If something doesn't come out and it is a complete, feature complete game, giving us the options of 30, 60, and now 40, because that's what we're used to, then we're just not going to buy it. And Sony will feel it, especially PlayStation being the number one money maker for Sony. So there, and it's not just the world is going to end. Sure, things are going maybe may get worse, but I don't think that it's going to be a complete well, I'm the king of the hill, so you know what? I'm not going to put out any games for 5 years. No, that's not going to happen. They still have to make money. They still rely on the console. They still rely on software. They still rely on coming out with group products because they need to sell these
And
products.
guys, let's be honest, Microsoft Gaming is not going to go anywhere either.
No,
Like
no.
the next we already know from the leaks that Microsoft leaked themselves that the next console is that like cloud hookup access point trash can looking piece of shit.
Yeah, the
Like
digital,
the
all
the digital
digital.
thing. And so like they're not going away. I think they will still have stuff that is like act through this access point, or you it's exclusive but you have to go through Microsoft Gaming. Like I think Microsoft Gaming might end up being like a connecting hub point. I was hearing oh crud, Jez talked about this a little bit, Lono talked about it a little bit either today or a couple days ago, where that's what we've all been talking about since we saw that little trash can, was that like, oh, they're going to go cloud access point digital only. Got it. Cool. By the way, if y'all haven't watched Jez's show from today, after this one, y'all need to go do that because there's an interview that he shows with Black Nut Cloud, and uh, it's freaking hilarious. Like, it's one of the funniest interviews ever because she can't get the game to work while she's trying to show how cloud gaming works. It was funny as hell. Anyways, also there were some other really funny things because of just the way Black Nut fits into sentences. It's hilarious. But Pure PlayStation, if you're not following him, go follow him. Pure PlayStation said this: Microsoft cannot win going head to head with PlayStation, so it's changing the rules. That's a quote from GamesIndustry.biz. PlayStation has been strong, and this is his take. PlayStation has been strong enough to put Nintendo out of the home console business. What can a forever last place Xbox do? Damn. Like that, if you look at the power of PlayStation, Nintendo did not willingly leave the console space. Like they had the the 360, Jesus. They had the 64. They had the GameCube, which I would argue is an awesome system. Uh, One of the very first times I played a Resident Evil game was on the GameCube, and like good system. But PlayStation absolutely demolished them. It was insane how bad it got. And then they had to pivot. They come out, the motion shit. They said, hey, we are now the fun family kid console. That's what we are now. We want you to be there with your friends, everybody over at the house, in the living room, throwing their shit, hoping not to break a mirror on the wall when the chuck falls off. Like, we want you here. And PlayStation was like, cool, we're going to make these cinematic movie games. And Xbox came in and said, you know what? We see what y'all are doing. We're going to make the best damn shooters that anybody has ever freaking seen. And they did. And they released them. They secured the deals for them. I understand that that wasn't Xbox, dude. I don't give a shit. It was exclusive to their system. And they came in swinging. And after a little bit, PlayStation has won the day. You know what? Kudos to Microsoft, because they lasted longer in the console battle than Nintendo did. From the time the PlayStation was released to the time the Nintendo Switch was released, or not the Switch, the Nintendo, the little white box, the Wii,
The
when
Wii.
that thing was released, it was a shorter time period than the 20 something years, I think, that Xbox has been around. They should have quit 7 years ago. Well, yes, they should have quit 7 years ago. That might make a difference in my numbers. But, like,
I disagree. They shouldn't have quit. They should have done better 7 years ago.
somebody in the chat, pivot. They should have pivoted.
Yeah, pivot
They should have
exactly.
they should have listened to the metrics. They had the freaking numbers.
Dude.
They when Phil Spencer comes out and says, "No, it's going to actually encourage the sale of games when
Yeah, that
people
was
can play them
ridiculous.
before." You're a freaking idiot. Like,
Ridiculous.
if you would have said, "Hey, when you have Game Pass, you get this entire library and you get to try every single one of our first party exclusives for 4 hours before you have to purchase it."
Mm-hmm.
That would have been
Way
smart.
different.
Wait, what company does that? Oh, hey,
PlayStation?
PlayStation has a service where with their new games, they give you a trial where it's locked behind a paywall, part of the subservice, but you get a trial on a lot of first-party games either
Yeah.
the few weeks before they release or the day of release. So you can make your own choice if you're going to
Yeah.
buy it or not.
And look,
That's
sometimes
part.
it's an hour. Some games are 2 hours. Some games are 30 minutes because they're indies, they're short games, but that option is definitely there.
Yeah, and like, but instead, you do that. And then you give us the line where no, it's going to be great when PlayStation, EA, uh, Take Two, all of these folks have said, no, 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 no. That's not how that works. If you train them not to buy shit, they're not going to buy shit. Like,
Uh-huh.
what are you doing? Like, and if
And
anybody knows how to make people buy shit, it's Take Two. Like,
yes.
those assholes are charging $100 for a pair of shoes in a video game.
And
I
for
don't want to
50,
hear it.
just to go back to what were you saying earlier too about Xbox, not going completely away. They're going to be in some way, shape, or form, right? And they will, right? They just spent $70 billion on ABK. They did the Bethesda for what, 7, 8 billion. So I mean, they got close to $100 billion invested in developers in the last, 6, 7 years or so, right? So they're definitely not going to go anywhere. But also, the cloud-based systems that everybody thinks that Xbox is going to go to. Look, this is coming from Falky himself, based on their financials and the ABK paperwork. Last year, Microsoft only invested in the Xbox cloud system 10 million. 10 million is almost nothing in comparison to what you really need to invest. 10 million basically pays for just the maintenance to keep it going. So as far as next week, Xbox saying, "Yep, we're canceling everything and everything's gonna be third party and we're gonna try to get Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo," that is still ways away from happening. Just based on the numbers, the amount of resources that they've invested into the cloud-based system in order to make it work at a level where it needs to to be just a cloud-based system, right? So I just want to say that because I've been seeing that a lot on social media where guys are thinking that that's going to be the next step right away. And I'm like, no, dude, that's still years away from happening. But yes, they're not leaving because they have those investments, especially, dude, $100 billion. That's a lot of money.
So one of the other questions that I have is what? So I started this channel as just a. What's up, Mr. Grimm? It has been a while. I started this channel as a place to talk about games that I'm playing and stuff like that. Because of all the bullcrap and the nonsense, and so for some reason people actually liking my opinion on things, I started doing live streams. I am really worried about the channels that are always just negative. What are they gonna do now? Like, we're about to not have we're about to have shows where I don't have to talk about Xbox. Like, we're about to have shows where the best thing in gaming news is that Sony is working with Studio X and helping them with motion capture. Like, I
Oh
am
my goodness.
so excited for those where we're just able to come on here and talk about games and just talk about everything going on in the world of gaming. And it's going to be great. As a matter of fact, I actually think that this is really bad for Sony because for the longest time, a lot of us PlayStation channels, we've been focused on Xbox. So I'm pretty sure that a few things on the Sony side have slipped through the cracks and we haven't maybe paid as close of attention
Yep.
because there's been so much shit going on the other side to report on and talk about. And so like we this might be really bad for Sony because if we start doing a lot of digging, our it's like when the teacher takes a long time to grade your paper and you're like shit.
No, instead of having four kids in the house, we only got one. Now we can pay 100% attention to that one. So yes, we're gonna have them. We're gonna hold them to a much higher standard than we have been. So just imagine that. So PlayStation is gonna have to really cross their T's, dot their I's, really work and earn our money because now we don't have the secondary option of, you know what, if PlayStation decides to fuck off, then fuck, I'll go to Xbox. Or,
No, I'll just go to the Switch. Once
well,
Switch
you know
2
what I'm saying.
releases, I'm so excited.
It's still an option, right? That option isn't there anymore. So now we really have to hold them accountable for every little thing because they're the big kid on the block now. They're the I mean they've always been, but now they're the only ones. So the standard has just went up for PlayStation.
Can we talk about how bad the success of Helldivers 2 is going to be for games like Concord and Fair Games?
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Good.
if those
Good.
games don't come out and just freaking hit it on fire, it's going the
Good.
PlayStation world will burn that week because think about it.
Good.
If those games come out by bigger studios, bigger budgets, and Helldivers at $40 is better than those games, I don't know, man. I think
Good.
that'd be the story.
Good. No, that's exactly that's perfect. That's what we want to happen. Let's like what is it? Metal sharpens metal, right? Like
Yeah.
that's exactly what we need to happen. We need these companies to compete for daddy's time. We need these studios, being the kids, to compete for who's gonna get the most of daddy's time and resources and money. And the best studio should get it. And the way that you do that is the studio that can come out with the best game, the most complete game, the most innovative game, just better game overall. And that's great. That's great for us gamers. So absolutely, because now we can't go into this, well, we have five mediocre studios, five mediocre games. Let's keep adding more, which is kind of what Xbox has been doing. Instead of fixing the problem at home, they stepped out of their marriage and went and got another chick pregnant, got another chick pregnant, got another chick pregnant. And after all these kids like, Daddy, child support is due, they're like, fuck, this ain't worth it. I'm paying child support every damn month. Before I had one kid, now I got 20 kids, and what am I getting for it? Not one of these kids is a doctor. Not one of these kids is successful. They're 40 years old, living in my basement, going on acts saying that PlayStation fanboys are ass. Like, where is the return on my investment? And that's exactly what happened to Xbox. They got fed up with it. They're like, look, we've invested $100 billion. Phil, you told us, what was it, 7 years ago, that this Game Pass thing was going to be a big deal. Well, you've been stagnant with subscribers now for how many years? We're not making the money that PlayStation is making. We're not making the money that Nintendo is making. I think Pal World was a big eye opener for them because they're like, holy shit, 19 million gamers since release. How many millions of dollars did they make? And this is not even, this is a beta basically. This is a test. What's going on here? So as success rings out, and that's another thing in the gaming industry, we have been, I say this to everybody, the, the gaming industry makes more money than the NBA, NFL, MLB, music industry combined. Combined, guys. The console space is making 30 billion a year. Just the console space, not including PC, not including mobile, not including TV, not including what Xbox toasters, not including none of that other shit. 30 billion. So if you're sitting there as the CEO of Microsoft, you're like, okay, if the pie is 30 billion and yet we're seeing 5 billion, 10, I don't know what the number is, but we're seeing 5 billion, 6 billion. PlayStation is seeing 15, 20 billion. Nintendo's seeing 25, 30, 15, 20 billion. Something's wrong here. Mobile is pulling in X amount. Candy Crush. Xbox with the ABK deal. I'm kind of, I hope that some of the people from these places, which is hard right now because they just laid off 1,900 people, right? But I hope that they can actually see how real games are made, quality games are made, and they can take note and actually try to multiply that same factor.
Yeah, that is kind of the thought. The thing about this that really like is I mentioned it earlier, but it's one of the most interesting things about this is that we're hearing that people inside these Xbox studios have no idea what's going on.
Dude, I didn't even know when they got laid off. They
No.
were trying to talk to Tom Anderson to see if I'm the one that got fired.
And then you mentioned the layoffs, and then you have these uh, dev kits that have been ordered, and for Microsoft or for Xbox, can you imagine being a game developer and your boss comes in after telling you, hey, cancel that game, cancel the PS5 version, we're making it exclusive to Xbox. And then all of a sudden, PS5 dev kits show up at your mailbox. And you're like, "Uh, boss, what's this?" And Phil Spencer looks at you and goes, "I have no fucking idea." And Tim Stewart and Satya are going, "Yeah, those are from us. You're welcome."
Hmm.
And here's the other thing. I think they had to wait, and here's why. And Will, I think it was you and I talking about this earlier. If they release Starfield right now on the PS5, I'm pretty sure the PS5 could run it at 60 FPS. Pretty sure.
Absolutely.
Which downplays the hell out of the
With
power of the Xbox
with less loading times.
with less loading times. Or maybe it gets it at 30, at a locked 30, with no
Yeah.
loading times. Like,
Yep.
it's going to be a more streamlined and more powerful experience on the PlayStation. Now, the game to me still is going to look like dog shit because I don't think you can fix that. That's just the art style and the art direction they used, and it's a direction of crap. But like, Yeah, and no one's gonna buy it either. Yeah, Michael, I fully agree. If
The
they drop
hardcore
Hi-Fi Rush
won't.
next,
The hardcore won't. But
I
the casual, I don't know.
the Bethesda
Maybe.
fan will, because guys, PS5, PlayStation gamers, there's a lot of Bethesda fans in this community and
There is.
in this in that player base. And so yes, if they didn't make the switch over to Xbox and they were just going to ride it out and play their old games, because those guys will latch on to a freaking Skyrim and just stay there and not care. Uh,
I mean, what if the game comes out at 39.99? You know, or 49.99? I mean, or maybe a complete edition with all DLCs. It's oh man, I really
oh,
feel bad I do feel bad for some of the Xbox guys because they have been going off hopium for many many years, and finally, when you get to a position where this year they're expecting Hellblade, Indiana Jones, what's the other one? Uh, the magical open world RPG game. I forget. But now they're getting into their groove, right? And now they're releasing more than one AAA game this year. Bam, get yanked out. So all that investment, all that time protecting Xbox, whether you're right or wrong, right? And now this, like, dude, the feeling of betrayal. Oh my goodness. But it's their fault.
it's
It
so
is.
that's the other thing that oh crap, we're running over a bit. Sorry. That's the other thing I want to talk about real quick. We've talked a lot, and I think we've gone back and forth on our positions on this. I think that we have at certain points blamed Xbox, at certain points blamed the player,
I blame all
uh,
three. I blame
and then
or all four:
at
Microsoft,
certain
Xbox, the gamer, and the journalist.
the journalist. Okay, yeah, like I think each one of them have a part in this, and YouTube just dipped again. We just went down to 5 in the chat. That sucks. Oh, now we're back up to 12. There we go. There's, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, guys. I hope it's not messing up for y'all. I hope we're not glitching or anything like that. Um, but like, I think all of them hold almost equal responsibility because gamers, some gamers left, right? You have the Jez, you have
Salty,
you have the Salties of the world who left the Xbox platform.
Mooch, a lot of guys, dude.
Right. Yeah, you have that group that like, nope, not doing it. I want quality. But then you had others who stayed and were like, no, it'll be fine. No, it'll be fine.
Crap
No, it'll be
gamer.
fine. No, 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 no. Crap Gamer left because he got butthurt by the fan base by the
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah,
fan
yeah.
base, and because PlayStation wouldn't give him swag packs and all this other
Yeah.
bullshit, and that's what Xbox did.
And now
I
imagine if Xbox didn't exist, where's he gonna run to?
Yeah, so everybody in the chat is Porter Rock left, MBG left. Like
Yeah, yeah,
all of
a
these
lot of
guys
people.
left early because they are gamers that have standards. And that probably means they're gamers that play more than just one genre of games, right? Like a lot of times people who have standards in gamings are not your casuals. There's a few people that I know that I would consider a casual gamer, but they still play everything. And like they still have high standards, but they might play casually a lot more because that's how they hang out with their buddies. But like this is this is something that we can look at, and I'd say 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, when all of the information is out on the table, when everything is revealed as to what actually happened, I think we're going to see that the downfall was when Phil Spencer had to convince Microsoft to keep Xbox going. because that was like the birth of Game Pass. That was the birth of well, Game Pass as we know it, of day and date, of all this other stuff. And it was literally them trying to merge two business philosophies together at the same time. You have, hey, we're going to make games, we're going to get them out at a good cadence, and they're going to be high quality, expensive games.
One per quarter. Remember that?
One,
One per
one per
quarter.
quarter. And they have the studio account to do it. The
Yes, they
fact
do.
that they don't have a game in Q1 is absolutely pathetic. But because they have the studios. But like they have these ideas and they're like, cool, we're still going to make these games. They're still going to be expensive. They're still going to be high quality. We need to make them a little faster and we need to get them out quicker. But we're not going to make our most committed players pay for them. And then
Hmm.
Kasatia then chimes in and goes, no, 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 subservices, it works. Trust me, look at our Microsoft Office numbers. This is when we used
Yep.
to charge just for the Microsoft Office like bundle, and you just installed it and it was yours. And this is when we started doing the subscription. Look how much our profits rose because of it. Uh, okay. And so they took two things together that don't fucking match. You can't tell a gamer, hey, you can play your games, any game you want, on our system that we've released, and we're going to have a lot of others too, for $18 a month. Oh, and
Yep.
that game that's normally $70, you don't have to buy it. It's $18 a month, and you get access to everything. You cannot do that to get. If listen, if PlayStation did that, do you think I'd really buy as many
Nope.
games on super sales or digital content that I do? Hell no.
Nope.
Hell no. I wouldn't have to. There's no point at that juncture. There's not. So you
And
literally told the people, the 25 million Game Pass subscribers, hey guys, you don't have to buy anything. We know you already give
yep.
us money for a subservice. We get that. We know that you're probably out of the 57 million that we sold, 25 million are on Game Pass. We know that y'all are probably our core audience that would give us money, but we don't want it. You
Okay.
literally looked at the freaking gamer and said, "Hey, keep your money. We'll give you the games."
I'm so glad you said that because today I was thinking, and I actually disagree with you on the part where Xbox lost it. You said that it was when Phil convinced them to keep going. I actually think that they failed was when they focused, like for example, Gears Tactics. That was a day and date PC game. That was a day and date PC game. Right when they did the day and date on Game Pass and PC, I think that was really the kick to the road to the end. But in 2017, when Game Pass came out, it was I think it was June or July. It was in the summertime. And I remember I'm sitting in my office and I'm on my phone scrolling, buying diapers and shit. My son was about to turn 1 at the time. And I was a casual gamer. I was playing MLB The Show, a couple times a week, and then maybe a couple times a year I would play Call of Duty with whatever friends invited me, right? So I wasn't really into. I was a new father. I haven't really been playing video games. I was working on my career. Like video games wasn't a thing for me like that. And I remember scrolling and I get a text message from my buddy who was an Xbox gamer at the time. And he said, "Dude, today Xbox comes out with Day Pass or Game Pass." And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "It's like when they're going to release all their first party games first day on Game Pass, and all you got to do is pay a subscription." And my question was, like Netflix? He's like, "Yes, just like Netflix." And I was like, "Is that the only games they're going to have?" Like, no, they're going to have a library of other games, and they'll put some in, they'll take some out, just like Netflix. And I was thinking to myself, damn, I'm paying $60 a game. How is Xbox gonna make money? Like I like the idea, right? You pay a subscription fee, 10, 15 bucks a month, but how is the company gonna make money? And I'm sitting there and the reason the question was in my head was because I'm literally in my office working, dealing with financials, And I'm like, how are they gonna make this work? And as a casual gamer, that was one of the first questions that popped up in my head. How the hell could they not see it? They did see it. So the question is, did they do it? Are they that ignorant, or did they do it maliciously? There's no in between.
So funny enough, here's the deal. I don't think Phil Spencer is ignorant. I think they have two different
Bingo.
philosophies. So I
He's
I
not
think
ignorant.
Phil has lied his ass off to keep his job.
Yes, that too. He's underqualified for that job. Everybody
I
knows that.
I don't think so. Here we go. Let me put on my I don't hate Phil Spencer hat. Okay?
I don't hate him. I like Phil Spencer.
No.
He's
I'm not
just a
saying you do.
liar.
I'm not. He is a liar. Let me put on this hat real quick of I that I I don't like him or whatnot. Let me defend him real quick. I think he has a vision. Okay, I really do. I think he is the rah go captain commander guy that like tries to get everybody around him and will do what he can to rally the troops, okay? We saw that actually. He's really good at that. He's dumb as a box of rocks when it comes out on how to execute, but he's really good. He is the Jason Garrett of the gaming industry. Players want to fight for him. By players, I mean the gamers, the hardcores. They want to fight for him. They like the guy. They think he's awesome. But dear God, when Jason Garrett didn't have a good offensive coordinator and a good uh, defensive coordinator, the Cowboys were terrible those years. And then when they got a good one, boom, it was great. Well, Xbox hasn't had good secondary leadership to support their top leadership, and so it becomes a clusterfuck. And then you have somebody like Satya Nadella who's like, listen, we need money. I got Tim Stewart barking down my ass that y'all aren't making us enough money. We need money. And if not, we got to shut you down. And Phil's like, no, I love this. Please don't. This is Xbox. This is our brand. This is what we fought for. This is ours. And then Microsoft goes, well, we need to make it into a subscription service so we can recoup our money. I said this back in July, I believe, when the Phil Spencer tour of apologies, the second round came out, not the Redfall one, but the one that was after that. Um, it sounded like he was defeated and like his hands were completely tied.
Okay, so let's go with that, what you said, right? Now, I said there was only two possible options, right? That he's either they're ignorant or malicious, right? Now, let's go with what you said. Now, I agree with you, by the way. I agree with that scenario. I think that's probably the most feasible scenario. So then I said he's not, we all agree he's not ignorant, right? He's not stupid. I mean, you can't be stupid to make it to where you're at. That leaves the other one malicious. Now, you may say, why would you say malicious? Well, because, yes, it's true. He may have a good idea, but your idea can be the best idea in the world. But if you don't have a pathway to get to that, it doesn't work. My dream is to get to the moon, but if I can't create a rocket that takes certain amount of fuel to get me there and back, then the idea is trash. It's not just about the idea itself, it's about the execution of that idea. That's why I think it's malicious, because even let's say if he did beg and plead, right, and was forced to do the subscription service, he either lied to Satya to continue that path, to say, yeah, it's feasible, knowing damn well it wasn't. Because even just looking at basic numbers, they said it themselves, we need how many millions? I think they said something like 60, 70 million subscribers to make this happen. What are the, when they've never sold that many consoles to begin with? They were banking on PC, right? But we all know the PC gamer, they're not like a console gamer where they buy games like we do. A lot of times they steal the shit, or they do what do you call that? Imitation, not imitation. Shit.
Yeah,
They
imitation.
uh, yes. So it's like there had to be some malicious aspects to this, because just plain black and white on plain sheet of paper, you write down the numbers, it doesn't work out for the amount of subscribers they needed. when they've never even sold that amount of consoles before in their history of their company. They're, I mean, they either had some extremely high faith, which, mind you, at the time they really had no games either. And they didn't have anything for the future either. At the time, how many developers did they own? How many studios did they own? A handful of them. So how were they going to execute that dream? Now, yes, they've acquired developers since then, but let's look at the pace. It wasn't until the last 2 years that they really ramped it up. So for the last 5 years, what were they doing? Sitting on their hands? That's the only reason I say it was malicious, because there had to be some sort of gaslighting, some manipulation, something in there that made it malicious in order for this to go as long as it did.
Sorry, I'm reading a
Arrogance. Somebody said that.
yeah, I'm reading a lot of these comments, and wow, yeah. I understand what y'all are saying in the chat. So I have several people along the same sentiment of he's not good, he
A
doesn't do
100 million.
well.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, he's too loyal. You need hard asses running things, not friends. Uh, why would he be defeated? Did he know then it was over? Yes, actually, I would say that he knew that it looked really bad, and they needed Starfield to come out and not be a shit show.
Hmm.
And because of the way they mismanaged the marketing on that by starting with the TV first, then the PC marketing, the um, then the Xbox marketing with the Xbox condom wrapper thing that was you just wrapped it around your Xbox like a jacket. It was really weird. Uh, like yeah, they fumbled that whole thing, and then Forza came out with like a third of the game missing, like just fucking not there.
And
And
man, it's
so
tough, dude, when you're, especially when you're managing creatives, and that's the thing that Sony is so damn good at, right? Because creatives, they get hot and cold, man. When their juices are flowing, they want to go, right? But business
pause.
doesn't work. Pause. Business doesn't work like that. So look, I'm not saying that it's all Phil's fault, which it is all Phil's fault because he's the top dog, so he's the one that's going to be making
No,
executive
no, no.
decisions, right?
It's not his fault, but it is his responsibility. And
No,
he
I'm
has
saying,
shucked that responsibility his entire time at Xbox. So think about this. When you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, okay? We quoted Hamlet earlier. Now we're gonna do some marriage therapy here. When you're in a marriage and when you're the man and you're the head of the household, it it's very clear and evident that as the head of the household, my role as the man, if my wife does something, it might not be my fault,
no.
but as the head of the household, it is my responsibility to help
Mm-hmm.
navigate through that. Same with
Yep.
her to me. If I do something that it caused strife in the family or bad financial decision or whatever, then it's not her fault,
Yep.
but it is her responsibility. Why? Because we are the leaders of this house.
That's what I was alluding to.
Sorry,
Yep.
go ahead. My bad.
No, you're absolutely right. You hit it on the nail. And a cool little fun fact for you guys out there, what we're talking about. Back in the 1800s, and this is, I just learned this recently. Back in the 1800s, where women couldn't, vote and all that stuff. But if a woman went into a store and she used a line of credit to make a purchase or whatever, and they never paid it, who went to jail? The husband did. The husband was responsible for everything the wife did. Everything. Whatever purchases he made, whatever IOUs he did, the husband was 100% responsible for it in the
That's
court of law,
absolutely correct.
in the court of public opinion. And that's what I'm trying to say, which Thrifty made a good point. He eloquently put it better than I could. But yes, it's his fault because he's the one that couldn't put his foot down with his developers, and he also made poor decisions. Redfall was a very poor decision. The marketing of Starfield was a poor decision. The marketing words with Xbox Series X, the most powerful, like all these things, snowball effect, and now it's a big ass snowball avalanche coming right to you.
Well, and so here's the deal. He had multiple instances and multiple chances to fix this.
Yeah, he did.
And so where I will give him fault in this and not just responsibility, like directly, hey Phil, this is your fault. When you see things from Matt Booty, and Matt Booty's supposed to be your dude, he's supposed to be your guy. He's your right hand. He's always up your ass fondling the nutsack. Like he's always there. He's supposed to be it. And when you start getting, wait, Matt, why don't we have games coming out? This is your job. I
Yep.
have you here to make sure this shit gets done. Why don't we have this coming out? It should have taken 2 quarters of missing their 1 per quarter mark to look at Matt Booty and go, hey, dude, you're fired. Go.
Yep.
And then you could at least, it's like when your NFL team sucks ass. And I'm not talking like the Dallas Cowboy version of suck where they make it to the playoffs and get knocked out, but like I'm talking like Jets level of suck. Okay? When your football team sucks, and then a couple years, they fire the head coach. First year that you suck, though, they're going to fire the assistant. Second year they suck, they're going to fire a special teams in the DC. And then the third year you suck, you're gone. Like that's how this works. And that's because in those scenarios, the coach realizes the head coach who helps make the staffing decisions for his assistants and stuff like that realized, hey, we sucked in offense. I'm the head coach. I try to have a general idea of what's going on. But my OC wasn't doing his job. He is now gone. Sometimes they'll cut those assholes halfway through the year. And so, one thing I will give Phil a huge responsibility and fault for is not looking at these people who he's put in place and said, hey, listen, that game is shit. If you do that to us or the Xbox brand again, you're gone. But Phil, we have to hit. No, we don't. We can backtrack that. Trust me, I have tramp stamps and tattoos and receipts on all these guys. We can walk anything back we need to. They're all in our back pocket. They've had no reason to release shit after shit after shit because they could not release a game for 2 more years. And if none of this other stuff happened, right? They could have gone 2022 and 2023 without releasing a first party game and came out 2024 with nothing but fully finished games. But instead, Matt Booty and Phil Spencer were both stubborn as hell. And we saw, what did I say before the developer direct? I didn't think that they were going to release a game Q1. What's up, Grindhouse? What's up, Jez? I didn't think that they were going to make it to Q1. As a matter of fact, in that stream, I said that. Because I said what I think was going to be best for gaming and for Xbox is that they delay whatever they were trying to force into Q1 so they didn't have a fourth game in a row like Redfall, Starfield, and Forza. Lo and behold, I thought they didn't put a game in Q1 because they were trying to help their studios. More than likely, it's because the next game that they're releasing is probably on the PlayStation. Like, we're about to be getting Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, and if anybody is interested in Sea of Thieves, it's going to come over also. Hey, Jez, your show earlier was fantastic, dude. The Black Nut interview had me almost wrecking in my work vehicle. It was hilarious. And so, yeah.
Remember the rumor that Xbox put the or snit the development of the PlayStation 5 version of Starfield? Remember that, guys, when they bought Bethesda? What if it was the reverse? What if they got the rumor wrong, or maybe they fed us to us incorrectly? But what if they actually promoted the dual development for that game? Just something to think about now with everything that we know.
I doubt it because there were some developers that at Bethesda that said, yeah, the thing was almost done. Like, we almost had the PlayStation version. Like, we were already well into production on that. And same thing with Redfall. Like, that's why the game came out shitty. because they had everything done for PlayStation.
That game is. I just downloaded that game again a couple weeks ago, dude. The controls
Grindhouse
just feel
Fallout.
off. They just feel fucked up, man. Like, God, I don't know how they can get it so fucking wrong. It's just, it's you have to be malicious, man. I'm telling you, that's the only explanation I can think of. And look, I'm not just accusing them. I accuse everybody of doing shit malicious when it's so obvious that, how can you get something so wrong? You don't have to be a genius. I mean, fuck, PlayStation laid the playbook out for you for the last 30 freaking years, dude. Like, it's funny how I said freaking even though I've been saying fuck for the last 2 hours. But like, dude, the playbook has been in front of you. You steal everything, but yet you don't want to steal the good ideas. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And what's funny is the things that they steal that they think Sony is so far behind on, cloud gaming, when they
Yeah.
try to come out with it, Sony's like, "Yeah, here you go. Here's ours in
Exactly.
4K 60 FPS. Have fun."
Even the subscription service, PlayStation does better, dude. Like, God, it's just so embarrassing, man.
That's actually been one of my issues with getting like so one has been time. I have been super busy at work this off season and it's been nuts. So being able to play and being able to get out as many reviews as I normally do during the fall and winter months has not happened. So, like on one end, praise be to God that I'm getting a lot of hours during the off season when it's usually really tight. But like on the other end, I really want to start making more videos, but I need more time to do so because I have to play the games to do that. But like that's one of my downsides of having PlayStation Plus Premium is that I literally have so much crap to play. And they've been giving us good game. There's been at least a game or two every month between PlayStation Plus Premium and the PlayStation Plus Essential tier that I'm like, damn, I gotta play that.
And the monthly games.
And the
Yeah.
month, yeah, all of it. And so I'm sitting here going, like somebody just said, hey, who's getting Helldivers? And I'm like, listen, I'm getting it. It might not be this week, probably not going to be this week, but I will probably be picking it up in the next couple weeks. Just because there's so much crap. Like, even if I buy it right now, I can't play it. I don't have time. And so, like, it's one of those things where I feel for some of these guys who are like trying to, or who have channels that are more progressed than mine and like are a little larger but not fully able to support monthly like monetization yet because like those guys like Jez, I don't know how the hell he does it. That dude must work like the weirdest hours of any individual I've ever seen because he'll be like 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday and you're like what the fuck Jez, it's the morning like, and then the next day it's like 4:30 p.m. on a Wednesday and I'm like dude what are you, how are you doing this? And it's like trying to grow channels. And so like anyways, perfect for you. I know Josh. Dragon's Dogma 2. What's up, MM? You're new here. Welcome. Haven't seen your
Welcome,
name in
dude.
here before.
Yeah,
Oh, you
Josh.
work from home. Got it. That makes more sense.
Oh, there we go.
uh, Jez, do you want on? It's, I mean, Jez, reply in the chat if you want to come on. I'll invite you. I know your mic works. We've never had an issue. Um, okay, so we got
Yeah, dude.
MM.
Dragon's Dogma, I'm looking forward to. And by the way, the conspiracy theory about Dragon's Dogma being 30 frames per second is not confirmed. There is the last showcase with Dragon's Dogma actually had closer to 60 frames, so we're thinking it may be an uncapped 30. But for all you guys that have been paying close attention to the frames on that game, just know that there's still some hope that it may not be strictly 30 frames per second. There may be uncapped some frames in there, so we'll see. Capcom hasn't um, made anything official yet.
What's in the Discord? No, it's not in the Discord. It's through the PlayStation, like the last times. It's- but like, you don't have to come on. I should have ended the stream about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah,
But
it's getting late.
yeah, it is. Um, so The craziest thing though, like I've been saying, one, listen, there are so many PlayStation channels that deserve their flowers and deserve some apologies. I'm not really one of them. I got a few things right, but I just used logic. Like the only reason the Xbox side was upset about that is because they just didn't want to hear it. But like it wasn't a thing that you could look at and go, oh wow, look how good you did. It's not that. It's just applying logic to a situation. And when you do that, one of the things that I've always tried to do with everything, any kind of hot button issue, I try to take emotion out of it. Because if you take emotion out of it, you can think logically. And when you think logically, no matter how bad the end result feels, you're able to process it as that being the right thing, right? Like you're able to sit there and process it as that being the correct outcome. Whether you like the way that feels or don't like the way that feels, it doesn't really matter because you have been able to remove the emotion out of the decision. It's no longer an emotional response triggering your decision. It is a logical, thought provoked, and thought filled response doing so. And so, like, that's the way I treat these shows. That's the way I treat the gaming industry. That's the way I treat any industry that I'm, like, in love with or that I have a deep desire and passion for. Like, one of my favorite rappers is Eminem. I listen to breakdown videos of Eminem. Like, I'm in there. I'm very critical of those things. I study those things. I like hearing how like in rap how words work together. I like in gaming seeing like, oh cool, that dev put that there. Like that's why Digital Foundry's videos are so cool to me because those dudes zoom in to like 5,000 times, get right up on a pixel and go, hey, do you see how that pixel is actually like more curved right there? That's because of this thing or that thing. And I'm like, that's really neat that devs take that much time to like have to pay attention to those little things. That's really cool. And so it's something that we get to do as gamers and that I encourage everybody to do in everything is when you are faced with a topic that's a hot topic, like take the emotion out of it when you're trying to come to a logical conclusion and parse out information. Right? I just sent the invite, Jez. If you want to hop on, you can. I probably have about 20 minutes until I pull the plug on the thing, so don't feel obligated. Um, it's it's very much a logic-driven thing. When my wife and I, we had a pretty big decision a couple years last year whether we were going to send our son to this kind of private school-esque thing or keep him in public school. And the private school was going to cost a lot of money each month. And so like we really wanted to send him to the private school. But and so there was a lot of emotion for a couple weeks when my wife and I talked to each other. Because she was like, no, we'll make it work. And I was trying to be like, no, we can't. Like that the math just doesn't math. And because guys, taking on a private school is like taking on a second mortgage. And so like it it's not just hey 50 extra bucks a week. No, it's like hey an extra $900 a month. And so like you have to process that by removing emotion. And then when her and I were able to, we were able to come together and make a decision. It's the same thing when you're looking at news articles or you're reading the tea leaves when it comes to gaming. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. It doesn't ever equal 5, and it doesn't ever equal 3. It will always equal 4. In some very rare scenarios, you could say that 4 and 4 make 44, but those are only very fringe scenarios. And so you have to process things logically. And that's what all of us on the PlayStation side, or at least most of us, have done. I think Colin Moriarty said it best, where he was like, listen, I have a huge problem with a lot of the PlayStation fanboy channels, but to be honest, these guys were talking about it well before, and nobody wanted to listen. And so, like, it was. I mentioned this last week that when you start talking about a PlayStation gamer and when you're on a PlayStation gaming channel, you're going to be hit with more facts than opinions. You're going to be hit with more logic-based conversations and logic-based conclusions than you generally get from the Xbox side. The Xbox side, you get a lot of we're trying, we're this, we're that, we're learning, we're all this other bullshit, but you're not getting any conclusions that are not based in emotion. That's why when you piss off the Xbox community, I saw a freaking photo of Risk It for the Biscuit with tears in his eyes. Not fake, like, photoshopped tears, but like tears in his eyes saying, hey, I have to step away from Twitter today. I need time to process this. Like, you have people that are that emotionally invested in a brand. That is freaking insane. PlayStation could look at every single one of their players tomorrow and say, hey guys, guess what? We're going to go day and date on PC. We know it's a huge risk, but it's one that we have to take to keep producing games at the high quality that we give you right now. We know this is going to piss off a lot of y'all, but this is the conclusion that we had to go to. And at that point, we look at them and go one of two directions. Either A, I'll still support you and buy your games as long as they're still great quality and the quality I'm used to, or B, F off, I'm done with gaming. Like, that's it. And there's PlayStation fans that would probably just look at it and say, you know what? I don't want that anymore. I'm done with gaming. But the majority of us, no matter how much we want to front that we would like, oh, if they ever put their games on PC day and date, that's just the death of play. Not really. Like, we would. It's like the whole PlayStation Plus thing. Like, they're gonna lose some people this next year when renewals come up off of the premium tier, but most people are probably gonna stay. We had our little bitch fit, and most people are gonna stay on it. Like, I think they're gonna lose probably 10 to 15% off of the premium tier, but I think they'll gain some more subs on the
I think they'll
extra.
lose more than that. I think more people will go to the base model just for the online services.
Nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think $3.50 a month, even though it hits at one time, is really going to cause that much of a strife. But guys, we have Jez in the house from the
Yo,
Gaming Grindhouse. What is up, dude? Welcome to
what's
the
up, man?
playground.
Yeah. No, well, hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I was just on. I was downloading my Helldivers, so I was like, oh, and you have it very conveniently in the PlayStation chat. So I'm like sitting here debating whether I do the regular edition or the other edition.
The
Uh,
deluxe.
I hate this. This is what I feel like I'm buying a house every time they have games out here with these friggin' all these editions. I'm like reading all these like fine prints. I don't even know what half the stuff is. Like I'm like, who the hell is the Will of the People cape and the MP98 weapon? Whose weapon is that? What does it do? I don't even know what the hell's going
That's
on
Matty
here.
Beast.
Where?
Is
Who?
that?
Where?
It says
Who's
Matty
Matty
Beast is
Beast?
in the chat. Is
Who's
that the
chat?
Matty Beast? My chat.
Oh, I just.
Oh
Oh,
no. Okay, never mind. Whew. I thought. What's up, Matty? Sorry. Go ahead.
you thought it was Mr. Beast?
No, I thought it was Maddie. Uh,
Oh,
oh, Maddie plays and all that crap.
oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might get the. I think I might just do the other one. But yeah, I heard what you're saying about the whole. Yeah, it's been wild. Yeah, I've been like all over the freaking place, like just listening
Your
and
voice
talking and
is
stuff.
so gone, dude.
I know it is. Well, because I talk at work and then I talk on these things. I'm like, I need a drink. I know my voice is gone. I know.
Today
What's his
when you
name
were
said I was
talking,
goggling on glass.
yes.
I was in B-Rap because I was listening to it and they're like, "Oh, you're there. You want to talk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was on like on Tim Dog's thing. I'm like, what the hell? It's been crazy because just hearing all the stuff that's going
How's old
on. But
Tim Dog doing? He said,
yo, man, he's still in a free. He still has a space going on now. I just went into it. It's gone like, and I don't know, man. He's still in the. He's still in it. Uh, he's kind of having that whole thing that they don't care about the fans. And from what he's hearing, and I listen to him like what he's saying, like because he must know more things than I do. But still, with because he has contacts and stuff. But yeah, I think this Monday thing is not going to be as devastating as the leaks have been, and I think that's going to be purposeful. I think Microsoft's just going to be very high level and keep things open to interpretation, which is going to get people right back on board with their "see, we told you so's." And I think that's what we're going to be doing on your next show next week, when it's like we're going to be sitting here going like, "Oh yeah, oh see, it was all ruse. He didn't mean it. What he meant was is like not all games." And I like the new Xbox branding that they're going to call it Windows Gaming. It's fine. Xbox was not a good name anyway. We like Windows Gaming is the new vision now, that they're gonna be stronger than ever, and then it's gonna be hype for them being like a huge publisher, bigger than anybody. Yeah.
Jez, it
Anyway,
was either on your show. I think it was on your show because I think Frog and you both were like, "Ooh, I don't know if Xbox would ever do that." But when I said that if the only way that they would get Xbox games on PlayStation or Nintendo, they would have to drop the Xbox logo because PlayStation ain't having that shit.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And you know what? Because you said that, like I know, it made me think about how when there's crossplay, you don't see the logos. Like when you go crossplay with somebody on the console, there's no logo, Xbox logo. It just shows you a little box or whatever like that. And they're not putting that branding on their console. So
mm-mm.
maybe if they go to Windows Gaming, they become like neutralized, like it's not associated. That's I thought was probably going to be their approach, by dropping the nomenclature of Xbox, the branding, even the color, green and stuff, and just come up with a new branding called Windows Gaming or Microsoft Gaming, and then now they go do their publisher conquering. That way, they're much more likely to be putting their games on competing platforms, because and I think a lot of it happened from from the legal thing that went on with the FTC and stuff. Like I think they realized that Sony was pointing out their weakness in that console, and that was like an anchor that was holding them down. And it's like it's not even selling. Why is this thing like bothering us?
Was, hey guys, we hit 32 people in here. Hit that like button for me. Thank y'all for stopping in. Jez, you
Oh,
said that Brap had something tonight.
oh yeah, he did his
Yeah,
podcast. Mooch was on
that
there.
makes sense. What time does he usually end?
He ended about 10 minutes ago. He usually ends, I
Okay.
think, in a couple hours. Like he went at 9.
So, one thing I've noticed is that on my 3 hour long shows, I usually end that last hour with like 50 to 75% more people in here than previous, and I think it's because he's on before me. So that's why
I know it's tough when you do all the things. I know when
it is.
because Mooch did that. He was like live on Monday night. I was like, hey, that's the Grindhouse night. What are you going? But Mooch had a lot of stuff going on. So what I did is I went on Mooch's show for an hour and then jumped on did my show on Monday. But like everybody was going crazy on Monday though, because of the Monday leaks and stuff like
Oh
that.
my gosh, dude. It
It's been
was
crazy. It's
it's
been
been
insane.
nuts. And seeing people come out, and we've talked about this a little bit tonight, but seeing people come out and like literally admitting shit that we've all been saying
I
and
know
all
that's the
told that
biggest
we were
thing. Even if they go
lies.
back next week. Yep,
Like, they
you're
were
right.
lies. They're paying y'all. No, they're not. Yes, they are.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah, I want
are.
to.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
Thrifty, I want to see one person next week start saying, "Oh, it's great to have our games everywhere." I want to see some. Nobody's ever gonna say that line again anymore. I'm telling
No,
you,
they
you
will.
never
They're
just
just
like
gonna
we.
do it at PlayStation. Now they're gonna try to bring their funky shit over at PlayStation. That's what
No.
I was telling
Oh well,
Thrifty.
yeah, you're right. They're gonna do that. No, but I'm telling you, with Xbox, that whole like when we all play, we all win. I don't think after Monday we'll ever see that phrase ever again,
Mm,
because people got a dose of reality this week with the leaks going, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't be saying that, because they'll put their games on PlayStation. So I think this thing will scare them into not using that term anymore, because like I think they're done with that,
good,
and they're gonna
because they
and they're
were.
gonna give Phil. Yeah, it works. So like whatever
Yeah.
they say
Yep.
on Monday, I don't think we're ever gonna. Just like we don't hear about $70 games of the devil anymore because Microsoft made them $70 games. Like that was a
Hmm.
whole thing in 2021. Those $70 games were the end of the world, and Microsoft was going to be cheap. But
and
yeah.
then they
No, they just said
decided
it
no.
because it sounded good, but they
And then
didn't mean that
Hellblade was your
shit.
first, yeah. And then Hellblade was your first $70 game, and everybody shut up. No, we don't hear about
Yeah.
$70 games anymore. So I think after Monday, I think we're never gonna hear when we all play, we all win, and they're gonna be like, Phil, I don't want you to say that again.
No,
Nobody says that.
because at the end of the day, it goes back to that dumbass comment that he made on oh the
The
kind of
$70
funny
boogeyman.
the kind of funny podcast. It's the comment that he made that
The Grindhouse refers to that as the taking it on the chin show.
okay, cool. Yeah, the taking it on the chin
Phil
show.
took
There you
it
go.
on the chin. That's the one.
Yeah,
Hexcast, yeah,
he
we
did.
took it on the
And he
chin. Yeah.
said making great games isn't going to solve our what? What?
I
Like
know. What do you
you're in
mean
this
great?
position because you couldn't land a single one of your games except a 6-hour indie game, and then that's going to have to go everywhere else so you can make money because you're a dumbass? Like, how?
Yeah.
It's. God, I hate being right in this scenario. I said it earlier in the show that this is a kind of a sweet sorrow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact, I've said it all the time, the playground is a place to puff out your chest. I was right, y'all were wrong, blah, blah, blah. Throw out our little insults here and there. But at the same time, I was right at the sake of what? Like, does that make sense? Like, yeah, cool. We were
Like,
all right. We all said the right things. We all predicted the right stuff. It's all there. You've gotten a lot of shit right. Will's gotten a lot of shit right. I've said a lot of good stuff. Salty's podcast, we did it for a long time. Y'all did it for way longer than me on there. And but we get to be right, and that feels good.
Vindication.
But the
mm-hmm.
cost of that being right, like this is
Oh, I
going
got you,
to
mean,
affect
yeah.
people's jobs. This is going to
Dude,
affect this affects
but
people's
it was a
gaming, their
warning, Thrifty.
routines.
But you want to know what? You don't need to to be right. Like it's not even like that you had some epiphany or yeah, not like it's some
No.
crazy knowledge.
No.
It is common sense, and it's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
the thing is that I was and the thing for me, I was never trying to convince like tell somebody who's a diehard fan like you're wrong and I'm right and I'm trying to convince you. It was just I just never liked what they were doing and I was just voicing what I didn't do and just rusing the corporation. But for people, like I'm not on a mission to change people's minds because my thing is that everybody has different thresholds. Like if you see, like who knows if Tim's really like going through that thing, but like Tim's threshold was this one because he got caught, and I think a lot of it has to do with he got more caught off guard thinking that he had the insider and he knew what was going on,
Yeah, he got
and
played.
he got played. And now it's not even a bad game. It wasn't a bad game for him. It wasn't a bad a bad experience with a launch. It wasn't the no power of the X. What was his tipping point was that he trusted in them and they didn't let him know and somebody else got this leak and he didn't have a heads up on it. That was his tipping point. Everybody has their tipping point. Salty's, I remember he changed his about like a year after when I was like, my tipping point was Game Pass. I was like, oh no, we're gonna get some bad games. And then the tipping point was when he announced a $500 X,
Yeah,
and I was
that's what
like,
that was Salty's. He was like, "I'm not
yeah,
doing
I'm
this
not paying
again."
for this. I'm not doing this again. Especially, when they launched that X, they never had games for it. All they were hyping PUBG that year. If you
Mm.
remember, PUBG was their game. Aaron Greenberg running around with the frying pan dealing with Dead Mouse at PAX. I saw him. I went to the thing. We went to the Xbox showcase. I had Aaron Greenberg on stage with Dead Mouse, and and I got the stickers for PUBG, and he was running around with a friggin' frying pan. That was the hype and they were launching the most powerful console ever. It eats monsters for breakfast. This is the We Heard You, and they were launching it with with PUBG, and it was running like at friggin' 30 frames or some trash like that. Didn't even have like a high frame rate mode or some bullshit. Like that was the year. I'm like, how are you hyping the most powerful console with the worst looking game, PUBG? But that was the launch, and their whole and people playing Halo Master Chief Collection again, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then I was done. I was like, you know what? And I wasn't done with Xbox. I said, I'm going to get a PlayStation. This is my tipping point. And when I got the PlayStation, I started playing their games, and I'm like, holy crap, I've been missing out on this. And then I just played the Xbox less and less. And I remember, man, when I always tell the story, I was like, when I played Uncharted 4 and that scene in the mud, the one that they showed the demo with, and he's like coming out of the church and he's going over and you're hanging on the back of the car and then you're swinging around and the mud's. I put my controller down and I stood up and I was like, just clapping at the screen. I was like, that was absolutely, and you know when the he's inside the burning car and you have to tap out to get out of the car, and it's just like this incredible experience, like the whole scenario, like it was so well paced, and I was like, holy crap! And I remember just looked and I saw my series, my Xbox, the white one, the one with that supposedly had the 4K upscaling. My ass, it had 4K upscaling, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, you never did anything like this kind of game. When are you gonna get something like this? Is incredible. And then that was my realization. I'm like, sheesh. And I was like, I'm done. This thing is it is. And that was my tipping point. And then Microsoft was trying to tell me about Sea of Thieves and shit. And I was like, oh.
So I almost had, and you know this story, and I think everybody here does. I almost had my own tipping point, but for the opposite. Like the PlayStation 3, I got so damn tired of all my buddies having an Xbox and having these freaking Halo parties and hearing how good Halo was and how good Fable 2 was and how good Gears was and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting over here with a PS3 that I'm terrified is going to overheat, that I paid way too much damn money for, that I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of really good games for it. And then God of War came out, and because I
God of War
was,
3,
dude,
right?
I was so
Yeah, I played
close
that. That was
to
incredible.
buying an Xbox. I kid you not. I was waiting for one of those like GameStop sales where they like give you double for your trade-in, so I
Yeah.
could just go trade in my PS3 for the Xbox. And I'm so glad that one of those sales never happened, because I played God of War 3 and I was like, well, F it. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
done.
and that's where after that was Uncharted, right? They did a God of War
It
3,
was God of War
Uncharted.
3,
No, I'm sorry,
Uncharted,
not
and Last of
Uncharted.
Us.
Last of Us. That's what it was. Last of Us was that. Yeah, I know. I got
But like,
oh, and I got and Mod Nation Races. I played that a lot.
I wasn't
That
really
shit was
big into.
fun.
Thanks for listening.
What?
Thanks for listing. Oh, somebody said thanks for listing. I don't know what we're
Oh,
listing.
Mod Nation
Uh,
Races. You ever play that? That was good.
a few good internal all around, but overall, wow, that's quite a list. What
Who's
happened in
listening to
chat?
what?
That's what folks are listening. Oh, hang on. Uh, Puny Human, Volition Games, Mini Me Games, Vanpool, CyberConnect 2, Montreal,
They're
Antrim.
all
What
done.
the hell is this list?
It's all the studios that closed.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep, because he ends with the Deus Ex devs.
Little big carding, Josh said. Yeah, you dude. Yeah, man. Mod Nation Race is awesome because like people just made all different racing kart games, and it was. I used to always boot that up, and I had that on the PSP. But the problem what I always had with the PS3 was the reason why I never really got too much into their ecosystem was because they didn't have party chat. I couldn't get pulled into kind of like the online. Like even I really like Killzone. Killzone 3 was awesome. Like I
I
really is it
loved
Killzone 3?
Killzone
What
3.
was the Killzone? Yeah, it's Killzone 3 was the good one. That one I played. And what I loved about Killzone, which I wish other games took on, was the multiplayer that had different game modes in it. Like it went from capture the flag to deathmatch to capture a point, King of the Hill, all within one game, like within one map. And it just like it went through the three different types of game modes in the same game, like one big game. I always thought that was such a cool implementation. So you're not just playing just capture the flag. Like it would be randomized to what the different game modes. You'll be in deathmatch all of a sudden, then they'll say like, and now capture the flag, and you're like, oh crap, now you gotta do or like VIP or something like that. And I like that they did that in Killzone. But yeah, Killzone, but they just didn't have that. I felt I was going back in time with online, so I just never really embraced, that to play more on it, and still in the 360 stuff.
Yeah, man. So here's the deal. We got to end it. Jez, I look forward to your show next week. Maybe I'll do the thing where I come on to yours for a little bit
Yeah,
before I
sure.
hop over to mine.
You guys are telling me, give me the updates. Oh, hop onto yours. Like, oh man, yeah,
Yeah,
I went.
in your chat earlier, real quick, Will, thanks for coming on, man. I see that you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
I
Have a
am.
good night, guys. Jess, thanks for
I'm.
coming in for the last bit
Hey, no
here.
problem, man. I'm
Have a good
watching
night,
videos on
chat.
seeing what the hell's in this update for like what's the different editions of Helldivers.
Dude, let me know because mine comes in tomorrow. I got the physical edition from SIE, and I hope there's I don't know what the fuck I'm hoping it comes with, but I just hope it gets here on time. But
Uh
yeah,
huh.
let me know if there's anything special with those
Yeah, I'm
deluxes or
watching what's
whatever
in
the
the
fuck.
Super Citizen edition.
Yeah.
Um,
It's got a lot of shit it
so,
shows, but we'll see. But
guys,
good night, chat. Thrifty, we'll talk to you later, man.
good
Yeah.
night, dude. You can follow Will on X at Will777JP. He's also on PSN at 777JP. His Xbox gamer tag doesn't matter because they don't have any games anyways. So you can follow him there. Jez, once again, thanks for stopping by, man. Always a good
Hey, man,
time
no
when you
problem,
come on.
man.
Sorry I couldn't like I told you earlier. If you wanted to come on, great. I had about 20 minutes left in us.
Oh no, I got
Um,
you. I was just jumping on to well, you in the chat to check out Helldivers.
yeah, man, I am
Download it.
uh, super excited. I probably will be getting Helldivers next week, so I'll be a little bit behind on it. But I'm sure I will have. I believe some growth is in your future. I hope so, Maddie. Speaking of that, guys, I linked the Discord in the chat. There's a lot of y'all here that I've seen here for the first time. We have a Discord. It is basically all playground bullshit all the time. Like, all we do is talk about gaming. That is it. Occasionally, we will check in on members that we haven't seen in a while, talk with them. It's not behind a paywall, nothing like that. It's free. Come join. We have a section where you can find gamers to play multiplayer games with. We have a section where you can we talk about like a game of the month type deal. I still have to pick the game of the month for this month. Sales. We talk about everything. Like, so hop into the Discord. It's really fun. Stay up to date. We have guys who, like Jez, work from home, and they're able, and they kind of keep their pulse on this thing, or their finger on the pulse of this thing. And so, like, you get a ton of good information in there. And just really knowledgeable folks. We got producer Josh over there. We got Warawana. We got Tornado. We got Nelson. Like, we got people in there who have been around this gaming thing for a long time and have been knee deep in it for a lot longer than me. So join the Discord, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 500. Once we're at 500, y'all can start buying me coffees, which is going to be super cool. But outside of that, guys, thank y'all for coming tonight. I hope you liked the intro. Still something I'm kind of workshopping. And so have a wonderful night, guys. And as always, stay thrifty.